What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Hot Toys Hotline Live, episode 149. Guys, sorry for a bit of a hiatus. We just had, me in particular, have had a lot going on recently, but also like last week, it was tough for scheduling in general for myself and other panel members included, so it just wasn't in the cards. But hey, we've been saving all of our fun and all of our luck for this week because we got a lot
There's
of
no
really
way we
cool
were
stuff.
missing this week at all. Like the last
Yeah.
24 hours said, might as well pack up shop and go home if you're not going to be on for tonight.
Right. Yeah.
Tonight.
I would have been very sad if something came up this week because obviously there's been some really cool announcements this morning that I myself and Lane and many others have been
That
very
we
much looking
literally
forward to.
been talking about like for a month off and on or so.
Yeah, and I've seen so many comments every time I share like new announcements. So many comments have been like, "Where's the Aliens 40th stuff? Where's the Aliens 40th stuff?" So we finally got it this morning, and weirdly enough, it was oddly controversial, the Ellen Ripley, and I was kind of taken aback by the response of some collectors on the Hot Toys page. I was very surprised by the response to the head sculpt. So we'll talk about that very shortly. But of course, as always, guys, thank you so much for being here. As you drop in, feel free to say what's up. I know the stream's probably going to take a little bit to hit everybody's phones and computers because we've taken a couple weeks off. So I totally understand that. But Lane, thank you so much for being here. As always, I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well. And I'm sure you're excited to talk about a lot of the stuff this week, even
Oh
if
yeah,
it's stuff you're not getting, you know?
yeah, yeah. Well, I will just say the last couple of like the last several weeks where we were kind of made and be towards the end of May in like Star Wars fatigue, just because that was overwhelming. Like pretty much a lot of the 1/6 scale space just by
Mhm.
volume. This month has been very cool because we've had some major pre-order release or even physical releases of
Yeah.
some really cool items that are different, completely different IPs or in general. So we've had more diversity,
Yeah.
and obviously we're going to be talking tonight about maybe what's for a lot of us going to be the biggest thing of this month. That next month is obviously with the summer stuff and everything. I'm sure we're going to get smashed over the head with some more. I wouldn't be surprised some more alien stuff or something too,
Yeah,
as
I mean
well.
ACG HK is right around the corner too, and like I told you earlier, I mean we're not going to talk about it too much yet until we get to Ripley, but I think that'll bring us some more stuff. So yeah, very excited to see what comes from that, but hopefully we'll have a nice little break.
But thanks for joining us, guys, tonight, and appreciate you coming back, even though we had a little bit of a forced schedule break the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, guys, just to share something a little bit personal, I did over the little hiatus that we had, I did get engaged. So that's
We
part of the
were,
reason why I wasn't here. I went on vacation, got engaged on that vacation, then the following week came up, and I just wanted to take a little break. So it happens. But
yeah, and I apologize, guys, because like last week, I will say the man to my left here was kind of considering thinking wanting to go, but I had a lot. I had just a lot go on last week and everything on Monday, Tuesday with work, so I was not in a frame of mind really to be able to, with joy and
here's
fun,
just
be able. Hey, that's not your old broken headset anymore. You can't be poking one.
Oh yeah, it's not my one that was taped. But no, it's not your fault, Lane. And like I said last week, literally everybody was like, "Dude, I'm so sorry I can't make it." And I was like, "You know what? I'll just go die." But no, it was fine. Like I said, we all needed a break, and it's around that time, summer. You guys know how it is. It always gets busy. But
He
um,
after that comment, we just need to have drama queen like is his subtitle from now on.
yeah, yeah. All
Hey,
right. Well, I'm gonna say what's up to everybody in the chat, and then we'll get started.
yep.
A lot of really cool stuff. And guys, we should have at least two or three other people joining us. I know Mike will not be here tonight, but as far as I know, Fig will be here, Chris will be here, and another little surprise guest if he's able to make it. Maybe two. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But Valk is not able to hang out with us tonight, but he's here in spirit. Thank you so much for popping in, Valk, one of our hotline hotties and one of our great moderators here. He says, "Have a great show, Connor. Sorry, I have a doctor's appointment this afternoon." Well, I hope that goes well. And thank you so much for being here. Short or long, doesn't matter. I appreciate you popping in. We got Travis in the house. He says, "How's it going? Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. It's going great." We got Cliff in the house. I know Cliff's excited about that Pennywise. Cliff says Pennywise has got to come home 1/6 kit for the win. Yes, sir. That's where I pre-order most of my InArt from. Actually, I kind of came to the realization when my last InArt pre-order shipped that kit is actually a bit cheaper for me because with the tariffs and everything, it just didn't make sense. You know, when InArt does the free shipping promotions, that makes a huge difference. But when it's not free shipping, it's cheaper to go through kit for me. So I actually pre-ordered the T800 through kit this time using my discount code and everything. So we got Red Priest in the house. Good to see you, my friend. I already saw Kaiju Daddy trolling me in the chat. What's up, my dude?
Hey, I will say, I have been checking out, guys. Chat, if you have not been checking out Kaiju Daddy's channel and stuff, he's had some pretty entertaining streams and smaller scale unboxings. Definitely, if you collect 6 or if you mix and match like Sarah Connor here is showing us,
it's all his fault.
He does some really good stuff with 1/12 scale too. So if you have questions or stuff like that, or you've been even considering maybe looking in some of the like slightly higher end 1/12 scale stuff, Kaiju Daddy is a good person to go check out for that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he'll tell you he's the worst, but he's just so bashful. But thanks for being here, Kaiju. We got Gio in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Another hotline hottie. He says, hello, everybody. Good to see you, Gio. I hope you're doing well, dude. Always great to see you in. Game Shift in the house. Another hotline hottie. He says, hello, hello. Hope I haven't missed too much. No, you came in right at the beginning. We literally had just gotten started, so you were here at the perfect time. Sounds like I might be getting my care package from Kaiju soon. I know I've got a massive box of stuff over there. Some of the stuff he had to remind me that I bought because I just couldn't remember. And then when he said it, I was like, I did buy that. I did buy that.
You are a silly goose.
Yeah, but I'm excited to finally get that box in for sure. Because some of those figures I actually sold the 1/6 counterparts to get those 1/12 versions, so I'm excited for that. Cliff says, congrats, I appreciate it. I guess he's talking about when I was saying I got engaged. Yeah, no big deal. You know, just something slight. Appreciate it, Al. And thank you so much for being here, Al. Sorry, I just kind of quickly glazed over your other message. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a hotline hottie and a moderator. Thank you, my friend, and I appreciate it. Kaiju trolling me already. Yeah, it's her dumb decision, I guess, not mine. Thank you, Gio. I appreciate it. You know what? To be fair, I think 9 times out of 10 I troll Kaiju in his chat, and that's why he avoids all my comments, and KJ has to read the comments for me. So what are you gonna do? I did say somebody would be joining us, and I didn't say who, because you know sometimes people can't make it and I don't want to blow up their spot, but we got my guy Sal here. I know you guys have seen him in the chat. He's always hanging out with us on Tuesdays whenever he can. You know, Sal and I talk pretty much all the time on Instagram about random 1/6 scale stuff because we pretty much collect very similar stuff. And I was talking to Sal earlier and he was like, oh, that's one of the figures you have that I still need. And I was like, oh, what are the other ones? And we just started like going off on a tangent. But Sal, I'm glad you're finally able to make it, my dude. Wouldn't that be crazy if Fig, with his track record of always making it, doesn't show up the one stream that you're on?
That would be crazy, but it's okay because it's not like I told them like I was going to be here, so I can't be upset. Yeah, I can't be like, hey, man.
He'll be here. He always comes in clutch. He'll be here.
Yeah, but, he should be.
Yeah, but I'm glad you're able to make it, dude. It's awesome to finally have you on. I appreciate you making the time, and what a great week. I figured that was why you picked this week where you're like, maybe it's time to come on, because this is a crazy week. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for being here, bro.
Thank you.
Let's see. Yeah, Cliff, you know, I saw all these threads about Kit lately, and you know, everybody's saying how rude Kit is and stuff. You know, I understand it, and people have like mixed opinions on how he handles customer service, but I've never had any issues with him, and he treats me like any other customer because he's told me no plenty of times, and he always delivers, and yeah, he's a very reliable person to buy from. But I know he made a funny little post, and he's like, I'm going to try to be nicer now. And I did talk to him in DMs, and he was being serious. He said he's going to try to be a bit nicer. And, you know, because some people don't understand his humor, and maybe they're a newer customer, and it rubs them the wrong way. I totally understand. I appreciate it, Travis. Thank you so much, my friend. We got assistant to the regional Sith in here. What's up, my friend? Good to see you. Flavio actually said that he really enjoyed that movie. I won't lie to you. When I saw the trailer, I have zero interest in watching that movie, and I like Spielberg, but zero interest. I watched that trailer, and I was like, you know. But but I heard it was good. So I'm happy for those that watched it. If it was worth the money, I'm happy for you. That is me. Yeah, I got a whole collection of them on my desk at this point. It just keeps on growing. We got my guy, Tijuana Mike, in the house. He says, happy Tuesday, collectors. Thanks for being here, my friend. Thanks for being a hottie. I appreciate you. Cliff said he's never had an issue. I haven't either. And, anytime I've had QC issues or anything, Kit's always handled it. And, again, I can say this with 100% certainty. He's never treated me like because I'm a YouTuber or anything. You know what I mean? Because, I'm casual with YouTube nowadays, so who cares, But he's always treated me like every other customer, which I really appreciate. Yeah, and, like I said, it's all personal experience, but he always delivers. That's all I could say. He is the ultimate troll. You can't be nice all the time. Sometimes you got to put your foot down, right? Sometimes you got to. All right, guys, we're going to get started. I'm going to tell you this right now. We're not going to spend too much time on Cassian Andor, though I do want to take a quick look at a review from TK421 Collectibles. Shout out to him. This is his review. This week has been a week of, overreaction, I feel like. Because people saw this head sculpt, and a lot of people were like, yeah, this is terrible. What happened? I will say this, though. The common thing with Hot Toys that we know is because of the way they manufacture these head sculpts, sometimes you get that big eye effect. And I think this one does suffer from that a little bit. But I think the likeness to Diego Luna is there. I think it looks pretty good. It does have, like I said, he is a bit bug-eyed. But you can kind of play with that and adjust the eyes and everything. And I think you can make it look pretty good. This is one that obviously was long overdue. I'm glad it's finally here. Now in my Rogue One display, the only one I'm really hoping for is obviously Bois Malbus. But who knows if that's going to happen at this point. They've teased it a couple times, and, it's kind of gone by the wayside. So, yeah, I didn't want to spend too much time on this, like I said, because we have so many other new topics to talk about, and this is just a release. We're not going to talk about Wolverinepool at all, so don't worry. I know everybody's, ready to click off. We're not talking about Wolverinepool because it's just, I don't really want to spend too much time on that. But, yeah, I think Cassian looks pretty good, but I do agree he does have a bit of that bug-eyed look, just a little bit with this one. But I will be looking forward to adding this to the collection whenever it actually starts shipping from Sideshow retailers and Sideshow alike. And, yeah. Lane, is this one something that you picked up in your collection? I would venture to say probably not.
Yeah, nope, not at all.
Yeah, so
I think actually it looks all right, but I don't love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Diego Luna's likeness came out 8 out of 10 maybe on it. It definitely had fallout. I think maybe it's because to me at least, it looked like it had a decent fall off from the prototype. Because I thought the prototype version of it was really good. I still think I still actually though like the roughness and everything like that on his jacket, like the details on some of the clothing and stuff, is still good. Yeah. I think that's actually one of the big strengths of the figure. I can just see where people what his jacket and look he had in the second season and stuff with when he was with the senator and stuff. I'm forgetting her name now. I don't know why. And stuff, and some of the
Mon Mothma,
yeah, when his thicker coat he wore at some different points throughout the series. I could see where maybe those looks are a little bit more, kind of the rogue, Agent Rogue look and stuff a little bit more than just this one, because he kind of does look like, I don't know, a worker at a worker who would be working constructing a Star Destroyer or something here at a shipping yard. But I think it came out good, not great, but I can understand why, because Andor's been over with now for a little while. It's maybe a little out of sight, out of mind too.
Yeah, and I'm, like I said, I'm glad they did the Rogue One version. I was telling you that earlier. I do agree with Clone Trooper, though. I think the puffer jacket is or puffer vest, I should say, is the worst aspect of it. I also prefer him without that anyway, so I'm not going to be using that with mine. Obviously, not an excuse for it to not look proper, but I do agree. The puffer vest looks a bit poorly tailored, but I do like him just kind of in his stock form like this, his default main outfit that he had. That's how, how he's showing it here. That's how I would display mine, but yeah, it's just cool to have such a built-out Rogue One display, because this movie is very high up on my list. I love Rogue One, and I loved a movie that wasn't afraid to show that the rebels don't always win across the board. You know what I mean? There's sacrifices to be made, and obviously not going to get into like a full synopsis of Rogue One, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, this figure's cool to have because I have a very complete Rogue One display.
Well, this sets up the desperation of the rebellion part of the story. You didn't get to really see too much, like in literally where they're at when A New Hope starts. You know, like actually how desperate their situation is actually.
Yeah.
Before you even get to Rogue One.
Exactly. Yeah. But Sal, any thoughts on Cassian? Is this something that interests you at all, or just a throwaway for you?
Yeah, no, it definitely interests me. I'm not sure if I'm gonna pick it up. I'm kind of like on the fence about it, just because, like, I mean, you know me, I'm pretty particular about what I pick up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's great, dude. I mean, this is like a really big, like, you know, part of Star Wars for me, especially. Like, I just think the show, the movie, just it's pretty, you know, to me it's like peak Star Wars, just good, really good
Peak
writing.
storytelling in general.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like the importance that's placed on some of these smaller characters and like the Rebel Alliance is like it's just so elevated in these, and like that's what makes it really special to me, because like a lot of the Empire stuff, like in the movies, they don't feel like so scary or like this like huge like regime, and just that I think the show just elevates like the rest of Star Wars, if I'm being honest. I think it's a good watch, like if you watch the show and the movie right before you go into like watching the OT trilogy, like again, yeah, it's so good. So it's hard to pass up, and I think it looks great. I think the head sculpt is pretty spot on, like you said, you know, give or take a few things here and there, but I mean, it looks just like Diego. So yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, I agree. And again, it was one of those, another one where, and to be fair, on this one's part, I think it was the final product photos, I think were a little poorly lit, and it kind of cast the head sculpt in a poor light. But yeah, I mean, I see Diego Luna at every single angle, and I kind of really like that side angle. It's just like that frontal, and like I said, he does have a bit of that like bug-eyed look, but again, it's not the end of the world. I think the sculpt is very solid. Yeah, Clone Trooper, I think Bodhi's very underrated. To have him with like the spool of wire and everything, that would be super cool. That's probably never going to happen, especially if we can't get a base to go with a figure that's already been, you know, long released. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope it's not the end of the Rogue One line, because we did get 2 random Rogue One figures out of nowhere.
10th anniversary.
Yeah, there's a possibility right there for sure. By the way, Kairos, love the profile picture. I actually just got a custom Frank Miller Absolute Batman, or no, excuse me. I got an Absolute Batman and a Frank Miller, like, custom drawn cover done, 2 different ones, and I'm really excited to get them in from this really dope artist on TikTok. But it basically took that Frank Miller issue 1 and kind of reimagined it and added full details and everything. I'll probably show it on stream eventually when I get it. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that stuff very shortly. We'll get into Ellen Ripley. I think we'll start with the sculpted version. That's like the appetizer, you know, for the main course. Well, maybe not the main course for everybody, but
I will say, Hot Toys still likes to make this very confusing for customers, since they like to do 3 different SKUs for this.
Yeah, so
it can never be simple.
Yeah, so to be clear, guys, there's a deluxe SKU for the sculpted version, a collector edition, as always, and then there's an artisan version. Of course, as always, the artisan version comes with all of the deluxe accessories. With the Ripley and the Alien Warrior, the deluxe really is just them including the face hugger egg, which I'm cool with because I'd like to have at least 2 of those. So by purchasing Ripley and the Xenomorph, the Alien Warrior, you do get 2 eggs. So that works out for me. I don't need more than that. What's up, Gabe? Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. We're just getting started talking about the Aliens 40th anniversary stuff. So, guys, we have the sculpted version here. And I want to start by saying, again, I was looking at the Hot Toys comments this morning, and sometimes I read them, people's reactions to stuff, and I say, like, oh, I can kind of see where they're coming from. I was, like, truly in disbelief this morning. And, to each their own. Everybody has their own opinions, but I couldn't disagree more. I saw so many people saying that this looks nothing like Sigourney Weaver, that she had a wig on with the artisan version, just like very surprising comments. Like they were really crapping on it. And I couldn't disagree more. I don't think this is like a 10 out of 10 head sculpt, but I think it's like pretty damn good, you know? I would put it in like the 8.59 territory. Yes, it could be tweaked a little bit, but I really like it. And it's funny, I was talking to Chris this afternoon, and Chris was like, he was saying, you know, I think the sculpt looks pretty good. He's like, I will say it does kind of look like the woman in Avatar. And I was like, Chris, that is that is Sigourney Weaver. That is. He's like, oh yeah, well then it definitely looks like her.
Yeah, she got to play a 16-year-old or something, 17-year-old.
Oh yeah,
7-year-old,
yeah,
which is hilarious, actually.
She did do that, but I was just laughing so hard. I'm like, Chris, that is Sigourney Weaver. I'm like, and I was like, you saw Mando and Grogu. That's also Sigourney Weaver. And he was laughing. He's like, oh, well, it definitely looks like her then.
Now Chris is probably going, hey, why am I getting this and not my Sigourney Weaver and X-Wing pilot outfit?
Yeah. Yeah, see, and Alec, you know, I respect your opinion, but if to me, you know, I'll say to me because I don't want to like invalidate your opinion, but to me, I don't know who this is if not Sigourney Weaver. It's like, you know, you either see it or you don't. For me, it's like, this is Sigourney Weaver to me. And I did see a lot of comments in agreement, but you know, I just couldn't disagree more. But again, I respect your opinion. I'm sorry that you're disappointed in it. Maybe there'll be some photos that come out from Secret Base. I know I checked to see if JC Hong had put pictures up of the sculpt. He did not, at least as far as I could see, unless I'm missing something. But yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't disagree more. I really like this head sculpt, and you know, I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. And I have the first version from Alien, and I think that one still holds up pretty well also. And I think that figure came out in like 2018, so it's not that old. But yeah,
8 years old.
I'm pretty, yeah. So it's not too bad, but it holds up pretty well. Yeah, I'm very excited for all this stuff too.
Real
Fig.
Quick, game shift. So the Artisan version is going to go up tomorrow on what, the 17th at 12
p.m.
Eastern
EST.
time.
Yep, 12 p.m. EST. Yep. So the RSVP is up. I know we don't have a lot of mods in chat, but if anybody would like to drop the link, that'd be appreciated. What's up, Fig? I was telling
what
Sal,
up, though?
I was telling Sal, I'm like, wouldn't that be crazy? The one stream that Fig doesn't make it to is the one that Sal's on.
I would have missed this. I didn't even see him until last minute. I'm like, oh,
That's
really? Okay.
That's what he said. He's like, to be fair, I didn't tell him I was coming on. But
hey, to be fair, Sal the designer.
yes. Sal the designer. Sal the collector. It's like Lane. Lane's name is interchangeable. Sometimes he's the Midnight Collector. Sometimes he's Legend Lane. Legendary Lane.
Dual threat, baby.
That's right. Let me catch up on a couple comments, though, before we kind of dive a little bit deeper into Ripley. Pedro Lopez in the house. You know, he says hashtag hotline confirmed. Yeah, Kairos, I love Frank Miller's Batman. I also recently read Year One, and it quickly became one of my favorite, like, you know, standard Batman stories. Outside of, like, you know, I love Absolute Batman, but really loved Year One. So I'm a big Frank Miller fan, that's for sure. Future Boy said we need another batch of Scorched Alien. That probably won't happen, but to be fair, he is kind of like equalizing price-wise, because I feel like a lot of people grabbed extras of those to trade or resell. So I've seen a lot of pretty good deals on Facebook recently in like the $450 range, which isn't too bad. Gabe says, I definitely see Sigourney. It's not perfect. Definitely has room for improvement, but it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 head sculpt, but like I said, I would place it in like the 8.59 range personally. The Artisan version specifically, because I do think the likeness is kind of enhanced by the rooted hair. But again, I know not everybody's going to agree on this one. I've seen like I said, I've seen the Hot Toys comments if you're just jumping in. It's kind of like what happened with the InArt T800. We'll talk about that later, with everybody talking about the short legs and everybody making that same comment. It's just what happens, you know? Sometimes all it takes is, like, even if you're just, like, kind of hopping into the comments, you see a few people say it, and it kind of puts it in your head, you know? That happens, too. Not saying that everybody that feels that way is basing it on other people's opinions, but you get what I'm saying. We got Big Rib in the house. What's up, my guy? Good to see you. Thanks for being a hotline hottie. I hope you're doing well. Adam Doom says, you know who it's supposed to be. It's not perfect by any means. I'd say a 7 out of 10. I mean, I think a 7 out of 10 is a pretty fair score. I would score it a little bit higher, but I still think 7 out of 10 is pretty fair. Assistant Regional said, to me, this head sculpt looks like their previous release. I don't believe that it is. I've done some comparisons and I've kind of gauged other people's opinions on it, especially people who have the first one. And collectively, we all kind of agreed that it appears to be a new head sculpt. But I would say the expression is somewhat similar. I think that's fair to say. We got Philly in the house. What's up, my guy? Good to see you. Thanks for being a hotline hottie. Guys, if you haven't already, check out Philly. He puts a lot of effort into his stuff, and I think he deserves the spotlight. So definitely go check him out on Instagram, YouTube, what have you. There's Fig saying what's up. I'm going to read a couple more comments, and then I'll let you guys kind of share your takes. Game Shift says, thank you, Lane. I think some people are unhappy because they just had a very high expectation considering how long it's been since this particular version has been released. For sure. For sure. Alex says, IMO, the weathering is poorly done and the fabric looks too thick on the figure. You know, there is like a lack of sweat, and I'm assuming what Hot Toys did just based on how the hair is styled, especially on the sculpted version. I'm guessing this is supposed to be like kind of right when she enters the elevator before she really starts going ham and like, you know, burning all of the xenomorph eggs and everything. Or I should say the facehugger eggs. I'm assuming that's what they based it off of, given the lack of the heavy sweat and the way that her hair is styled. Maybe that's coping, but yeah, I don't know. I really liked a lot of the customs I saw of the Present Toys figure where people were like heavily weathering the shirt with the sweat and everything. I thought that was cool. Stone Capybara says, it looks nothing like Sigourney Weaver, just saying at this price it needs to be better. Yeah, again, I disagree, but you're not alone. And I totally hear you. It's like one of those things, you either see it or you don't. And I saw a lot of people saying they don't see it. But, yeah, I don't know. Like, that to me right there, it's just like, to me, it's like undeniable that's Sigourney Weaver. To say it looks nothing like her, yeah, like I said, just highly disagree. But, Lane, I'm going to jump to you. Sorry, I've been talking a lot, but obviously this is a very exciting one for me. Lane, how do you feel about the head sculpt? You know, clearly there's some mixed opinions in the community, not only in this chat, but all on Facebook. And I'm going to put up a poll while you're talking because I want to hear everybody's thoughts on it. But Lane, what are your thoughts on this Ellen Ripley? And obviously we're just looking at the sculpted version right now. But
yeah, I think it looks great. I can, with the outfit, the weapon, dude, just the front thing with the freaking pulse rifle and everything, I was just like, oh boy. Like, I was super excited. The bandolier. I'm hoping that's just going to be on her right off the bat and don't have to put it on her. Because I would think it would be really annoying hooking that thing up around her. I think I can get where maybe the outfit looks a little baggy, but like the pants were kind of baggy on her. You know, if you haven't watched the movie in a while.
yeah,
She's really, and so any of the accessories, now I'm a little disappointed because the gooey bases, they're just reusing that same base again from like Rain and also and stuff. And back, that looks a lot like the old Batman base too.
yeah.
So I'm a little disappointed they're reusing that, but I will say for the facial sculpt, they're depending on, and this is like if you look at all of them for all the different versions, because they have some different photography, you know, for the Artisan or this version.
Mm-hmm.
There are points where I think when you're looking dead on like you are here, I think it's something with the cheekbones and stuff like that and how they're done and some of the detail and stuff. They feel, that's what I think could be throwing off a little bit where it's not perfect. But if you have her head turned slightly or even with some of the eye movement and stuff, I start seeing Sigourney. So I get why people are thinking. I don't agree that it's a total, like, doesn't look like her at all. Because this is still a head sculpt I can go, and that's Sigourney Weaver, that's Ellen Ripley. Like, I can just look at her right now and tell that. But I do think there are a couple details with her cheekbones under, like, her eyes and on the side there and everything that do feel, to me, a little inaccurate. Maybe it's some of the paintwork and stuff like that. I'm not sure. I like the sculpted hair because, yeah, I mean, I'm not you can kind of see where they tried to add some kind of like around there with some paints, like to give it a little bit of sweatiness factor. but I'm not expecting her to look all super sweaty like she looked during the final thing, where she's a real person, a real person using a flamethrower. Like,
yeah, like and like what I was saying earlier, like you could see as she gets sweatier, like again when she's like burning the
eggs,
face hugger eggs, her hair does get more slicked. But you could see it in some shots, like Hot Toys did a pretty good job. Obviously, we're not talking about the Artisan yet, but again, this is one of those things, and I see people debating in the comments. And what's up, Boba Fettuccine? Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a hotline hottie as always.
But like in that scene, this facial sculpt definitely doesn't look as sweaty. But do you want it to look that sweaty? I think that would look kind of ugly, quite honestly, if it looked exactly like that. But you can kind of see like with this one, back up that other one, where something with her in her cheek area and stuff like that, to me it looks a little bit, I can see a little bit of difference, but I still see there's no doubt to me it's Sigourney Weaver. Now you could maybe because of some of the paints, make the conclusion maybe she looks a little bit younger than how she looks in the movie. They might be using as the starter point the old one, where obviously Sigourney was like late 20s when she was in that movie, and she's mid 30s here. So that is what could be playing a little bit into this too. But it's close. This is one I know people are super excited for, and if you're disappointed with it, I agree. I totally get why you would be, because this is one of the characters you want to be quote perfect, in a lot of ways, starting with the prototype, because then that way if you get like a 5% drop, it's still you can go, it's 9 out of 10.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Six Gale Treasures, by the way. These are his comparison shots that he always does, so I appreciate him for that. And also, Chris just joined us. Chris, thanks for being here. Obviously, we're talking about Ellen Ripley here. I did mention earlier when you said, like, oh, honestly, you're like, I'm not going to lie. I will say it does kind of look like the woman from Avatar.
Yeah.
And I was like, Chris, that is Sigourney Weaver. But
yeah. But overall, I would just say I'm happy with it and stuff. Just I think the sculpted's great. I do wonder what the price is going to be for the deluxe version. This is one of those ones for I can't see why you wouldn't get the deluxe unless, I don't know, it's like they want $50 more for the, like if it's $50 price difference for the egg or something. Yeah. I might go, that's a lot of money for one little thing or something.
Yeah, I think it's $315 for at least for the Alien Warrior. It's like $315 versus $340.
Yeah, so it's bad. I'm just saying, if they were to have something absurd like that in the difference of the price, yeah, I would probably tell you I would tell you go for the regular one, because that thing is not worth $50, even if you think it looks cool. But overall, I'm good. I think it's and there's always a possibility they might improve it a little bit between now and then, but at least for the sculpt. But that's my opinion.
Well said. And guys, don't forget to vote in the poll. Again, even if I don't agree with you, I want to hear your thoughts. And sorry, Boba, I pulled up your comment, but I didn't actually read it. Boba was saying to him, "This is a massive Hot Toys fail. Looks nothing like her. More like a Barbie with a blowtorch. So disappointing." Like I said, this is going to be a very divided one, guys. There's some of us that think it looks pretty good, but it's not perfect, like myself and Lane and Mike as well. It seems like he kind of has a similar opinion. And then, others are saying that it looks nothing like her. So it's a very divided piece, clearly. Mike's in the house, though. Good to see you, Mike. Sorry you couldn't make it, but I'm glad you're able to pop in the chat. And Mike says, she could be better, but I'm cool with it. Part of me looks wishes she... I can't even talk. Jesus, guys. Sorry. Part of me wishes she looked worse so I could call her
Onomatopoeia.
Yeah. But I'll have to refrain from the dad joke, unfortunately.
Here's the thing, too. Like you already mentioned, I legit have no skin in the game with her and stuff like that. And so I vaguely kind of can picture what she's supposed to look like. But the fact that I recognized her portrait and compared it to the person who I thought it was, and it is her, that should say something. So while it may not be 100%, it still looks like the actress.
Yeah. And like I said, I do believe that the Artisan version looks a little bit better just because you get that added realism. And again, everybody was saying, I saw some people saying that this hair looked like a wig. I mean, isn't it technically a wig on all these figures?
Dude,
It's not
like
real hair,
that
you know?
her in that shot compared to the previous one you had up, she
Yeah.
looks a lot better here than the other
Um,
one.
Yeah, and real
And I
quick,
think
Kyrus.
the Artisan looks better.
I agree. Kyrus, real quick. They have not announced the brown Alien Warriors yet. I don't know if they will. Obviously, sometimes they'll show stuff and then it never sees the light of day. But as of right now, they have not announced those. So the answer would be no to that because they haven't announced it yet. But Chris, I'll kind of continue with you since you're already talking. So one thing I noticed too is with the sculpted version, the hair kind of covers more of her face, so you can barely see that blood damage on her face. If you look at those photos, it almost like kind of tricks you into making you think it's not there, but it is there. It's just like kind of partially covered by the sculpted hair. Yeah, I do like the rooted version a decent amount more. Not that I think the sculpted version looks bad. I do like this rooted version though. But yeah, Chris, you know, we had some comments too. Some people were saying they thought maybe the clothes were a little baggy or thick looking. A concern that I have that was like really annoying with the Present Toys version is the flamethrower and the pulse rifle staying together, because you know she kind of rigs them together in that final scene. Hopefully they're magnetic, because they did that with like the C-3PO, for example. They made all the parts magnetic. So I would love to see them do something like that just to make it like a bit easier to keep them together. Hopefully they do. Obviously we don't have a lot of details right now. And real quick before we jump to Chris, Alec, to answer your question, I guess that depends on how you feel about the head sculpt, you know, and also based on the pricing overseas for Pennywise is going to be around that price point. Because obviously you have to remember you have to buy it through kit or other resellers because it's not a worldwide license. So it's like, it depends on what figures we're comparing. Do I think this has more value than that Pennywise for $400+? Yeah, absolutely. But it's all, you know, obviously it's all personal opinion. Do I think Hot Toys rooted hair is better than InArt? Absolutely not. I've been very vocal about that, but value is all subjective to how you feel about the figure. Obviously, you don't really care for this head sculpt, so to you, I'm sure it's not even close to being worth any of that pricing. But to me, you know, I think if it's like around 400, I think that's a fair price for what the market is looking like right now for Artisan. But obviously, because it comes with that egg, we're probably going to be looking at over 400. That's just unfortunately how the pricing lies right now. But the silver lining to that is there is a sculpted counterpart for those who don't want to spend that amount of money. You know what I mean? But sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Like as far as what, just talking more about
Yeah, like do you have any
Artisan?
thoughts on like the feedback on the sculpt, and a lot of people saying they think it looks nothing like her, like how the tailoring looks, just anything, if you have anything to add. If not, we can move on from you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I already touched on like likeness wise, but for me, like if I was going for a version, I always kind of like the version that leans more towards realism. And I feel like even though like you touched on InArt does better, I still would rather have the more realistic hair, just because like it can cast shadows better. You can see strands in it. So like if you were actually looking at somebody,
Yeah.
but yeah, from what I can see, you know, because I'm not judging the film or from film, I don't think the tailoring looks that bad. It looks like clothes that somebody would wear from that time period. You know, you got kind of high-waisted pants there, so I think she looks good. The white T-shirt, you can't really go wrong
Licensed
there,
Reeboks,
in my
the Bug
opinion.
Stompers. That's pretty cool that they
So-
got the licensing for the Reebok Bug Stompers. I'm really happy about that. Adam,
And
you know, I
seems she.
Sorry, go
Sorry, I
ahead.
didn't mean to cut in
no, go ahead.
because I have no clue if I'm lagging when you talk, but it seems she comes with a fair bit, no? Like accessory wise?
I would say an okay amount of accessories. It's not mind blowing. Like obviously, if you get the Artisan, you're getting the face hugger egg, which is cool. She doesn't
Okay.
come with a lot, but she comes with enough. I wish she came with like the flares, but at first I thought she didn't have the tracking device, but it's actually attached to the top of the pulse rifle.
What about her base?
I mean, the base is kind of like what we've been seeing recently for a lot of the Alien IP stuff. I got to zoom out a little bit. It's a cool base, nothing special. I mean, yeah, it's like similar styling to what we've seen from a lot of the recent Alien stuff, you know.
Yeah. Not gonna lie though, the big that's pretty cool to me.
Oh yeah, I love the eggs are cool. I think a lot of people kind of expected those as accessories, and no, I think those are cool. I think they look pretty good. But yeah,
Yeah, it's got a weapons and stuff.
yeah. Let's see. So yeah, Adam, in terms of the power loader, if I had to guess, I think they might announce it as kind of like a vehicle at ACG HK. There's no, I feel like there's no way they don't do the power loader. I feel like that's just kind of like a must-have, you know. But we'll see. I mean, they did it years ago. If they were willing to attempt it all those years ago, I think they would be very willing to do it now, and it would kind of have similar engineering to the RoboCane. So just got to wait and see on that one. Yeah, and like I said, especially in the sculpted pictures, it almost like doesn't look like it's even there in some of the shots. Because I had a friend that thought like, oh, the sculpted version isn't bloody, and I had to look back at the photos. I was like, no, it is. It's just like, yeah, very strange.
Well,
Look,
if you know you want the figure, to be honest, and you're hype about it, but this has disappointed you, Hot Toys has been known to take terrible photos. I still suggest taking the leap, grab the figure, that way your order's in. And if you don't like it, you can always cancel it. And like there's always delays anyway, you know, so
yeah.
I wouldn't stress on that, especially for an exclusive piece too. You know, you'd hate to pay more on the back end for such an iconic character.
Yeah, and like I said, I do like that this one has a sculpted counterpart, so there's kind of like options for everybody. But yeah, Alec, I mean, I think like, you know, 60 to 70%. I think 70%'s even like 7 out of 10 I think is pretty fair. Like I don't think that's a poor assessment. I think it's a bit better than that, but you know, 70% is not a bad score. Some people seem to think that it is. 70% is pretty good. That's a majority, you know. And, you know, maybe they'll make improvements, or like Chris said, maybe we'll see some more photos of this. It's weird that JC hasn't posted any photos. Usually that kind of helps, like, ease your mind if you're uncertain about something. I don't think a lot of people will be changed if they think it looks terrible and they're very disappointed, but you get what I'm saying. Mary says that the hair, both sculpted and rooted, is throwing it off. Huh. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't hate the hair on either one of these. I actually quite like the hair on the Artisan version. If it were my choice, though, kind of going along with what Alec was saying earlier, I would love to see like more sweat, the hair super slicked, sweat on the face. I would really love if they had gone that route, but they didn't. So we got what we got, you know. It's all good, Mike. You know, stuff happens, and good to see you, Bailey. Sal, I want to jump to you because I know you're probably eager to talk about this one. Sorry, it was kind of like long-winded, but Sal, how are you feeling about both the sculpted and rooted version? Obviously, we've kind of briefly taken a look at both here. How do you feel about the head sculpt? You know, comments that, you know, people have commented on in terms of like maybe some shortcomings with this figure. How do you feel about it as a whole, and which one are you interested in potentially picking up?
Yeah, I mean, if I were to pick it up, it'd be the Artisan one for sure. I just think the sculpted kind of just looks like a helmet, and I think that's just kind of like by nature of the hair, you know?
Yeah.
I don't agree with the chat that it looks nothing like Sigourney. I think there's probably a truth in there, right? Somewhere between like the people that love this and the people that hate it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, you know, one of the comments was something about the hair. I think there might be some validity there. It's a little like too poofy. I think in the film it was a little more, but like that's kind of like the nature of like 1/6, you know. I think it's kind of like the sum of its parts, you know, like maybe the chin's a little off, maybe the hair's a little off, maybe the eyes are a little off, and then you get like the tailoring's a little off, and the shirt's a little bit like floaty, like it doesn't like drape as if like a, you know, like a more like wet kind of like gross t-shirt would.
Right.
So I think just kind of looking at like everything as a whole, you kind of get lost in like, well, that doesn't look right and that doesn't look right, and then so it kind of just encapsulates the entire figure. And then, you know, if something's off about the face, it's kind of like where you go to naturally.
Yeah, it's the forefront of the figure.
Yeah, I mean, I dig it though. Like these two shots here, like I don't know how you don't see the actress here. Like to me, it's kind of like crazy to say that you can't, or that it looks nothing like. I mean, if I like saw this from a distance, I'd be like, look, dude, that's her. She's like standing right over there.
Yeah.
It's obviously, you know, it's not perfect. None of these things are. I'm looking at Hugh Jackman Wolverine, and like people call that like a masterpiece of a sculpt. And I look at it sometimes and I'm like, that doesn't really kind of look like him. Like the eyes are a little, buggy looking a little bit, and like
Yeah.
so. I think you kind of there's a level of acceptance that I think you have to have a little bit with these things. And if this is a character you've been waiting for, I totally agree with Chris. It's just like, just grab it, dude. I, I'm a firm believer in like a lot of these things look a lot better in person.
Yeah.
And that has a lot to
Sure.
do with like focal lengths and lighting and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, I think some of the more harsh lighting in some of these photos actually do the figure a little bit more justice. Um, the more even lighting you get, even on like a regular person, like the more plasticky like they tend to look.
Yeah.
So the only thing I'm disappointed in this figure is that it's not from the first movie. That's it. So yeah, like that's the one I really want. Like, I probably won't pick this up just because I don't want to just concede and be like, oh, I need a Ripley, so like I need to pick this up. I just love that first movie is like so iconic. It's like transformative. It's like what got me into sci-fi, like into horror. Like I think it's really shaped me. Like even before, like I saw The Matrix in '99. Like it was Alien. That was my shit, dude. So
yeah.
And plus, like I love her hair in that one a lot more. So I don't know if I trust Hot Toys with doing that hairstyle in
yeah, because they didn't do too bad with the sculpted hair for the time, like I said, I have that figure and I really do love it, but if it was made today, obviously we'd see a lot of improvements likely. It's funny because I think a lot of people prefer the first film, and I love Alien, but Aliens has always been my favorite just because the whole relationship with Newt and I love the Colonial Marines. Obviously I'm very, very much hoping that Hot Toys does some of those. But I love that final sequence versus the Alien Queen, and Ripley kind of came into her own in the second film. She went from being like mostly a scared victim in the first film to then becoming the hero and having the balls that a lot of these like trained soldiers did not have. You know what I mean? And so I love both films for their own reasons. Nothing beats that suspense in the first film, especially the last sequence where you think Big Chap's done for and he crawls creepily out of the hole in the wall, the little grate in the ship, and like that whole realization that like shit, he's still here. Nothing beats that. You know what I mean? So both films are just both very different, but I love the second one so much, especially, and I love this look. So we both kind of have that same love for these particular looks for our own reasons, But I wanted to say real quick, and maybe you can comment on this, Sal. We've seen Hot Toys in the past Photoshop wrist gaps. I hope that this is about what it looks like, because that genuinely is not bad at all. I hate when you could see the full ball peg. To me, I'm like, why can't you just make the ball peg a little bit smaller and then hollow out the hand a little bit more, and it hides that ball peg? So it looks like they've done that here. But we know that they've Photoshopped hand pegs before, and then the figure releases and we're like, what the hell? Nothing for me, nothing topped She-Hulk and how seamless those wrists were, given that they were removable hands. Like, they did such a great job on that. It's like they regressed. It's like, why would you not take advantage of that? Like, Bane doesn't look too bad, but he didn't look as good. You know what I mean? I don't remember which one came out first. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know
all I know is I missed out on Bane, and I'm still upset about it.
So many people, I genuinely am in such disbelief with that one. I mean, you missed out on some heaters, but I'm genuinely in disbelief that so many people did not pre-order that Bane. I know Fig was probably sitting there with his vape, just got his feet kicked up by the fire, and be like, oh, what's the matter? You missed out on that Bane? He's got a big pile of them sitting next to him.
Bro.
I pre-ordered that last minute myself, bro.
Add one thing.
What'd you say, Chris?
True. I was just going to add one more thing because I wanted to touch on what Sal said. I completely agreed with his point, like as far as scaling these things and trying to get it to look right in 1/6. And InArt themselves have come out and said, like, it's hard to transition from 1:1 into 1/6. You go half scale into quarter scale into 1/6, and you lose quality like along the way. And like the perfect example of this is taking a t-shirt that you and I would wear and you just shake it. It bounces up and down naturally. You try to do that with the 1/6 scale shirt, it's stiff. Like, so it's super hard to kind of replicate any type of fabric like that without wire or something like that. And at that point, it would just be weird if you just had a wired 1/6 scale shirt.
Yeah, I mean, and we kind of learned that in an interesting way with the Topo Anakin set. It had a lot of good things going for it, but the shortcoming of it is he didn't put wire in the tabards or the hood of the robe, and you lose that ability to simulate the weight of the fabric. And I do think that Alec was making a good point about the shirt maybe looking a little bit thick. I think maybe they made it a bit thicker to get it to lay a little bit better on the body. So it's like, it's a trade-off. Yes, it lays nicely on the body, in my opinion, but it does look thick. He's not wrong. It does not look like the thinness that you would expect from a t-shirt, because that's what it is at the end of the day. It's the t-shirt that she had on. Real quick, though, unfortunately, Chris is in the car, so he won't be able to get out the belt, but I'll do my best for you, Big Dog Pound. Woo! Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a hotline hottie. Thanks for being a moderator and being an all-around great dude. But, yeah, 100%. That's a great point. That's a great point. It's, and that's not to make excuses for Hot Toys or InArt or any other company that kind of does a poor job at tailoring. That's just to say that sometimes it just happens, and it's unfortunate, the design decisions that are made sometimes. But, and Big Dog Pound, thank you so much, my friend, a hotline hottie for 15 months. Well, guys, since, our viewership is lower tonight because we took a 3-week hiatus, why not allow you guys that are here to benefit from it? Let me see here. Hold on one second.
I'm gonna laugh if I get one, dude.
He's not gonna. Chris, you're not allowed to have one.
You're just gonna have to start revoking them.
But whenever it starts loading in, we got Clone Trooper, Collectors Enabled. Good to see you, Collectors Enabled. Wakandan Figure Slayer, Malgus for Emperor, and Jazzy. What's up, my guys? Thank you so much for being here. You benefit from a small viewership today because you have lesser odds. So I appreciate you guys as always, and thank you, Big Dog Pound. Those are courtesy of Big Dog Pound. But Sal, did you have anything else you'd like to add? I know you kind of were able to share most of your points, but I don't know if you shared which one you're locked in on and any final thoughts you have. But feel free before we move on to Fig.
Yeah, this is one I'd probably be locked in on the Artisan, just because it just gets that much closer to realism for the hair. And I think the hair is such an iconic piece of the character as well. It's not something that doesn't belong to her character. If you saw the silhouette, you'd be like, oh, that's Ripley from Aliens.
Yeah.
And then to talk about the wrist seam, I hope that's how it looks. I'm pretty eagle-eyed when it comes to seeing Photoshop jobs or AI BS. So it looks fine. The shadows line up. Nothing's real crazy. This is photoshopped, obviously.
I was, yeah. Right there,
and then the one that you were showing, I think
that's not that bad.
It's very straight. Yeah, I think if you tilt it a little, you kind of start getting that gap. So
yeah,
if you're able to finesse it a little bit, it might be fine.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to just wrapping fabric or just something that would make sense for the character. It doesn't need to be 100% accurate to the T sometimes,
but K-bar sheath on her wrist.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I hope it's this kind of there's obviously a seam, but I hope it's this seamless to
that's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
What I also want to give them a little bit of credit for, because oftentimes they piss me off with the hand selection and how it's not tailored to the figure. They very much tailored these hands to the figure. I love that curled up gripping hand for the pump on the pulse rifle. I like this shooting hand here. It looks like they actually put some thought into it. That's a weird
dude. Look at her expression right here, dude. I mean, it looks with the rifle, it looks sick. I don't understand. But whatever. Yeah, to each their own. I'm not gonna.
I want to say this. It's one of those things. It's once your mind is made up, it's we can't see how people can't see Sigourney, and they're probably yelling at their screens right now saying, Sal and Connor, shut the fuck up, because it doesn't look like, you know what I mean? And it's just one of those things. I get it. It's happened to me before. I see all these people praising the head sculpt, and we're going to talk about one later. I saw so many people praising it, and I'm like, what the fuck? But so I get it. And guys, trust me, if you have a differing opinion on this, don't think we're kind of negating your opinions, because nothing makes discussion better than differing opinions. But
Yeah,
Alex
Connor and I
says-
have gone back and forth many times on stoves.
Yeah, remember Padme? Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, I still.
Um, That's a whole can of worms.
I know.
Real quick, Alex says, because he's commenting on something that I brought up again. He says the bagginess on the clothes is good, but the material is a bit thick. It is, especially when you get to like the seam toward the bottom that you see on a t-shirt. It is a bit thick. I would agree. And yeah, like I said, in a perfect world for me, she would have been super sweaty and like kind of them replicating right after she finished just burning all of the eggs. Because obviously when she does that, she's got a flamethrower. It's hot. She's sweating profusely. Like, in a perfect world, that would have been the exact moment that they captured for this figure. But they didn't. Like I said, I think this is like kind of right when she gets on the elevator before she starts going ham and sweating super hard and stuff. Like, obviously she was sweating a little bit, but not like that. So I agree for sure. Dude, I know, man, Colonial Marines, I don't think we're going to get a Newt, especially how they disrespected Newt and just killed her off screen. I will never forgive them for that in the third Alien film. Hicks too, but that being said, I do have some faith in the Marines. I can feel it. I don't think we're going to get the whole crew, but you got to remember, Hot Toys years ago, they did what? Hicks, Vasquez, Hudson? Are those the 3 or 4? They did 3 or 4. I can't remember. They were like model kits, or like, not model kits, but back in the day, you had to assemble some of the figures.
Yeah, they were couldn't like pose, I think, very well. You know, they were slightly better than like the model kit types, you know, the first Predators and stuff. Pretty much were. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Around that time, you had a lot of model kit Predators, model kit Xenomorphs, all that type of stuff. But real quick, I want to jump to Fig. Fig, thank you for being patient, my friend. Fig, I hope the first thing that you're going to say is you're so incredibly happy for me. I know when you woke up this morning, you're like, that son of a bitch, when you saw these figures get announced, and I know you were super happy for me.
You lucky bastard, you. Nah. Hey, look. Hey, look. You've been getting everything you want. You're just a kid on Christmas every day. You know, you got it.
What can I say?
Hey, I'm happy for you. You know, Alien, Predator, you know, like Terminator. You're getting it all.
The IPs, yeah.
Can I live? Nah, I mean, hey, it's all good. It's all good. My time will come, maybe. But look, my opinion on this figure, I'm going to give it about like an 8.5 out of 10. The reason why I'm giving it that, yeah, it's a fair rating. The reason I'm giving it that is because I feel like the one thing that's kind of making her likeness off that maybe some people are complaining about is the eyes. I feel like that's the biggest one. I feel like there's more white around the eyes for her in the film or in general than the figure is showing. The figure kind of beady. Like, I feel like it's zoned in on kind of the irises and stuff like that. So I think that's one of the biggest flaws on the figure. And maybe the hair could show a little more forehead, you know. I feel like that's another little slight nitpick, but outside of that, I feel like this is a great figure. The clothes don't look too bad to me. The accessory is fitting. The egg, we all love the egg, scrambled, sunny side up, you know what I mean? So like, yeah, this is a nice figure. You know, I'm gonna keep it brief since, you know, this ain't my world, but happy for you, Connor. Happy for you.
Listen, dude, as long as we keep eating like we are, if there's a hiatus where I don't get nothing and you get your X-Men and your Daredevil, early 2000s Daredevil and stuff, I'll be okay. Because this is something I've been wanting forever, you know. I've been wanting this forever, so.
He's going to be getting to the point he's going to be asking where he can stop being at the buffet meal and let Fig get up there and eat and stuff instead.
Yeah, Fig's eating like 7-Eleven taquitos right now, just getting by. He's eating the big bite.
Bro, I just crushed some food too. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's why I was late. I was crushing some food.
That's all good. That's all good. Dude, come on, bro. I know. Like, I was very confident we were going to get an Artisan Sarah Connor because that one that they did years ago is really bad now. And it has that really crappy nylon hair.
I wanted that too, so bad.
Yeah, he's got the Dollar Tree steaks, like paper thin. You can like see through them if you hold them up in the light. That's how bad he's down bad right now because of these announcements. But it's actually technically me because they're getting me good with this.
Bro, I'm gonna be like the Vince Carter meme when the X-Men come, bro. I'll be like,
yeah. I'll be right there with you, bro. Something I do want to say. Let me close the Ellen Ripley poll real quick. I hope you guys all got your votes in. So a very split poll. So we got 43% that say it's a bad sculpt, 25% say no, 32% say it's okay. I think that's very fair, very split, you know? And that's kind of what I expected based on the chat reactions and what we saw on the Hot Toys page. It's very split. I want to commend Hot Toys on something with this new Alien Warrior. You guys know I mentioned before, probably quite a few times, that I wasn't exactly happy with how the mouth looks on Big Chap. They did a great job, in my opinion, on the mouth on this one. I think they learned a lot of things when they manufactured that scored xenomorph, and I think that benefited us heavily. And I think it's going to benefit us heavily, hopefully, with the Big Chap, because the mouth on this looks great. You know, my problem with the other one was, number one, there were too many teeth, but also it's like there wasn't any distinguishable, noticeable variation in the size of the teeth. They were all kind of like around the same size, and it just doesn't look right. But this Warrior, I think it looks excellent. And I know he comes with like swap out seamless arms too, which I actually saw somebody complaining about. That one shocked me much more than people complaining about the Ellen Ripley likeness, because I'm like, you don't want seamless arms? I don't know, man. I think this looks really good. Also, love that right there. I might steal that, because that makes sense, right? Like the Warrior's trying to protect the hive. The Queen's over here screaming her lungs out, you know what I mean? And the Warrior's protecting the hive. Like, that's really cool. Same case, little PSA, guys. I did break my Scored Xenomorph mouth and had to get a replacement. They were nice enough. Even though I admitted that I broke it, they replaced it for me. I straight up told them, I'm like, look, I broke it. I'm just saying. But this has the same idea, the swap out mouth, which is good because, you know, over time that opening mouth might be a problem. I think this looks great. And I know some people asked about the brown version. Just to clarify, the brown version is kind of what the costume looked like pre-color grading in the film. So a lot of people probably don't identify with that one, so I don't know if they're ever going to announce that. But if they do, I love like behind the scenes / like concept stuff. Anything in that realm I love. So if they do it, I will pick up one of those. But as of right now, just one of these for me. I'm not going to go too crazy with duplicates. But something I really love too is how they integrated the egg to be able to like attach to the back of the base, or you can have it kind of by itself. I really like that modularity there. And also, you can also have it with just like that weird, disgusting pile of flesh there, and just have the egg disconnected. You can see here like comparisons of the original Warrior, and then you've got the Big Chap there, and then you've got the newest Warrior SKUs, which there's two of them, obviously. Like I said, I think they really did a great job on the mouth on that one. I think this looks fantastic. You can see a bit of a height difference and a bit of like a bulkiness, which, you know, it'd be kind of cool to have both, because then you're kind of having different size xenomorphs in your shelf, because obviously that's a thing. Yeah, I think he looks great, guys. I really don't have too many notes on this one. I think this is a much stronger figure than Big Chap straight out the gate, especially because that mouth, because that's such an important detail. And they did a much better job on the teeth on this one. Yeah, that mouth can do some work on this one for sure. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question. Why they didn't? I'm surprised they didn't pull some face huggers out, but yeah, I don't know. Especially because the one was like running around the lab and stuff. I'm surprised they didn't. I don't know. Lane, is the Alien Warrior on your list? I know it's kind of tough, right? Because you have two options. For classic Alien and Alien stuff, you got Big Chap or this. Are you going to grab both of them, Lane, or are you kind of weighing your options now? You're not getting Big Chap, okay?
Yeah, no, I was probably going to just stick with the Scorcino.
Yeah.
But now I'm thinking about getting a Warrior.
Yeah.
Honestly, Warriors. If I get Warrior, I'm going to get the deluxe, so to get the egg with it. But Ripley is the thing I absolutely 100% have to have. This is one that probably going to be a little bit, because I want to see what other stuff may get announced before I drop into this. If we might see some other stuff or something like that pop up. I'm really highly interested, but I don't think that, and this is just because it's a more modern design, is I don't think the Warrior looks as interesting as the Scorcino. And that matters.
That's very fair to say. Very fair to say.
He fortunately is not as big. So you can actually, this guy's tall will actually fit in a D12 shelf, unlike Scorch. I think the detail on this thing looks amazing. The fact they've got switch out arms and
Yeah,
stuff
that's a
built
nice
on arms.
touch.
So there's not. I love the for as much as I like Scorch, the kind of bluish coloration that these guys have in the movie. Like the only Xenos that I have seen in a movie that I like, maybe better, for just the standard, because Scorch, while he's technically kind of a standard Xeno, he's got some specific identifying damage marks stuff. Or the grid alien, say from AVP, is I love the Xeno suits from AVP Requiem. Like those are my favorite. I think those were, to me, the best looking aliens that they ever did. From when you could actually make them out in the dark.
Ironically, one of the best on-screen Predators as well. In my opinion,
with
one of
Wolf.
the best Predator signs. Yeah, Wolf Predator had a great design, and the film
that
was
you could barely see, along with the Predator.
Very dark film.
Everything looked great, except you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
But those are like the only alien suits that I like better than this look in it. Plus, they're more like this design, more like the classic Alien Warrior kind of, but like a lot more big, a little bit bigger and more sharpie than these guys have. I love the
detail on the
biomechanical
carapace, dude. Like they've been killing these xenomorphs, man. They've been doing a great job.
You think about it, I thought it was really interesting because I was watching Optical 20 and his, he does kind of short previews of these stuff and everything, or when they review things. And he was really saying for that, like he got Scorch, and he thinks that's like one of the best figures like Hot Toys has like ever made in the history of ever. And I would agree.
It's a great piece. Yeah, it's up there for sure.
But I'm not surprised with detail with here and everything. The one thing I do have concern with is, could this thing have, where you were mentioning for the switch out for the jaw, is that if they have a switch out jaw that's just open, or maybe they're going to use a better method for being able to attach it than the Scorch.
Probably not. And real quick, I want to say what's up to 1-6 lovers. Good to see you, my friend. You missed. We still got plenty to talk about, but you missed Ellen Ripley. We're talking about the Scorch Xenomorph now. We talked about Cassian in the beginning.
I love that shot.
I love this shot too. But Lane, so what I'm hoping for, which I highly doubt they're going to change, but when I broke my tab, what I said was, damn, they should have made this metal. It wouldn't be hard to use like a little piece of aluminum as opposed to a piece of plastic. I don't love plastic on plastic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not going to change, but yeah, that's a good thought. I would hope so.
Yeah.
Also, Alec made a great point about the brown version. They did have, from what we could see in the shots from the event, it did look like the proportions were like different, which was cool. That's a great point. I completely forgot about that because, I was just too busy like, starstruck by all the stuff they were showing off. But yeah, that's a great point. I hope it gets released as well.
But I think this is definitely one you need to think about, especially but I can see where this, with all the Hot Toys figures and 1/6 scale figures that come, that you for all different properties now, because Hot Toys does a lot more IPs and stuff. I can see where this is something where that could be skippable, even though it's a 40th Alien and stuff, especially if there's Colonial Marines and stuff that come out. I think some of the human characters might be a little bit more, because even if you have let's say you're getting the big chap or the Scorch Xeno, you can put almost any Xeno with Colonial Marines. Like, it's not going to really matter, pretty much.
I think a lot of these figures are interchangeable, and you can kind of make them look all good together. Like Big Doll Pound was saying, like, I know it's not canon, but having Ripley and Rain together with the Scorch, yeah, it would look great. Yeah. To answer your question real quick, Big Dog Pound, you know me, I'm a big Predator fan. I love Alien too, but I've read a lot of the Predator comics and stuff, and I have a huge Predator collection, a lot of Alien stuff too. But if I were to pick one, it would be Predator for sure.
Well, I'll say for the movies, it's Aliens, but if it's like probably buying, depending on what it would be, probably for buying a figure or a statue, like Prime One, you guys know I'm a statue collector, does massive alien statues like
those
AVP Predators.
Statues are nuts.
Yeah, though I would probably do Predator because I think they're kind of, like this guy is really cool, but he, use the term grunt. Basically, like he's a wonderfully monstrous thing to want to shoot. Whereas while the Predators are bad guys a lot of the time, obviously in the movies, they're kind of a superhero monster. You know, they're each very individualized, except for like the Alien Queen or something like that. You know, that's something very individualized. But
yeah,
I just think that for buying a toy or getting something, the Predators are a little bit more interesting. But that's just a specific thing. But this is a great pickup. I think the pricing point, $315, $340, it is a little bit more than the Scorch was.
Yeah, because he was, what, $305?
Yeah, or something. And he's bigger. And he comes with a lot of stuff. So
there's some unique engineering on this one, too.
Yeah.
We'll give him credit for that.
Yeah. But it's not like this is way out of the ballpark or like Scorch was or something like that.
Not
but
at all.
It's a thing that I would just say, if you're not the biggest Alien fan, though, or if you just want to get like Ripley this is all they do, but you just want Ripley as a representation, because you can get her with like alien goo and you can get like an egg and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's a perfect representation for having aliens in your collection if that's all you're really interested in, you know? Yep. And I think that would be perfect too. But anyway, great figure. I think people who pick it up will really like it, because now, for this one, I'll finish just saying, Scorch set a high bar for any alien figure that comes after it. That's why I'm really worried about Big Chap.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out.
But anyway.
But yeah, well said, Lane. Well said. Sal, moving on to you. I'm assuming that this one is just like, immediately you saw it, you're like, yep, that's for me. Which is, you know, for you, you are good at being selective with your collection. You're like, look, I know there's a certain type of figure that doesn't make it in my collection, and there's one, like, if this happens, I'm going to get it. So I'm assuming, because you're very hyped about the Ripley, that this one's probably on your radar as well, but I'm very curious if this is like a two piece where, you know, you grab this one and Ripley at the same time. I'm very curious.
Yeah. Damn, it's one of those things where, like, I think you can have Scorched and not have Rain. But if you get in this, you gotta double dip, I think. So I'm really I'm on the fence, man. I really am. This thing looks absolutely incredible. I don't know why Hot Toys doesn't do this more often, where they're showing like a good amount of photos, but then they have like those really nice comparisons that are actually like rotating.
Yeah, I
love those so much.
Yeah, this is
great. When I saw that, I was like, damn, this is so fucking sick.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, I'm getting Big Chap for sure. I do agree on the mouth. It sucks. I don't think they're going to fix it or do anything.
I don't have faith they
about
will
it
either. It still looks bad in this photo here.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's like, it's one of those things where if the figure looks great, it's going to be great, and then you just have that little, it's like that little spot that's just so obvious. Yeah, and that, I don't think that's the case with this one. I mean, I'm not like super well versed on how accurate this is, but I don't see why it isn't. Like, I can't find anything. Yeah,
it's pretty good. And the one thing I'm very impressed by is the paint job as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a great job. When you get in those close-up shots and you see like how detailed it is with like kind of that, it's almost like a blackish like blue color. You know, you got that blue effect, and you could see the depth of that paint. Like I said, I mean, accuracy-wise, these are some of the more accurate figures they've done. This and the Scorch Xenomorph. Again, Big Chap, them messing up the mouth is a big accuracy flaw, but this one, they've done a pretty damn good job, so I'm very impressed with it. I think it looks very good. And the posability looks really nice, and shout out to Hot Toys for not cheaping out and doing like literally full swap out seamless arms. That way you have that seamless look with a different type of hands. I think that's excellent. I really do.
Yeah, the only thing I wish that they might have done on this one is like maybe do a different egg. I really want this many eggs. Like,
oh, I want all the eggs.
Like looking all the same. It'd be cool if one was like kind of open or
that, yeah,
or like maybe a little crooked or some shit. I don't know, something a little different.
But then, you know, you could have this. That's at least
you can have that.
You can have
it but like you're getting another egg. So
maybe with the brown one they'll switch it up. Probably not, but
yeah, probably not. That'd be really cool for them to do the brown one too.
I think
I
you'll
can
end
totally
up
see
getting
that.
this, and I feel like you should, because then we
Dude,
won't have to have the conversation later. Look,
you're right. I
this
think
is like
I
a
am.
once in the blue moon announcement for Aliens 40th, you know.
Yeah, I know, dude. So
And you're very
I,
selective with stuff,
I
so
brought.
you can let yourself have it.
Yeah, I could let myself have it, but then like half my stuff would just be Alien, which is super cool.
So
I
no
don't
problem.
mind
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna say
That's
that's a
sick
great
as
problem
hell.
to have.
Yeah.
It's just such
Um,
an iconic film. Two films, really. I mean, I
it
like the
really
third
is.
Alien, but after the third one, it really drops off for me.
I don't know if I like the third Alien, man. No,
I don't love it. I like it. I don't love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a sick piece, and I don't think the price is too terrible. It is a bit higher, but you do get the face hugger egg, so I think that's a nice trade-off price-wise. We keep losing Fig, guys. Sorry, you know, obviously he's driving, so he's going through all these different areas. So I apologize, and I'm sure he feels bad about it, which he doesn't need to, because I get it. But yeah, Sal, I guess we'll have to wait and see. You'll have to let me know if you end up
Yeah, you
deciding
know
to
what's
pick it up.
crazy? Yeah, kind of a side note. I don't think Big Chap is coming with a face hugger either, so we don't have like
We have
an
we have the
original.
Romulus one. That's it.
Yeah, so we don't have like the original face hugger design, which is really disappointing, actually.
I do, only because I have like these
Yeah.
third-party ones, and they're different colored eggs. But it's funny seeing the scaling of these eggs. Those other eggs I have are definitely a lot smaller. Not a lot smaller, but decent amount. So I'll have a bunch of eggs. I'm just gonna have Ripley like with the flamethrower out, just surrounded by eggs. Um, but yeah, I'm surprised they didn't do the face huggers. I don't know. That's very strange to me. But what are you gonna do? I guess we'll jump to Fig now. Do you have any additional thoughts to add, Sal, before we move on to Fig?
No additional thoughts. This thing is badass, and if it's anything like Scorched, everybody's gonna love it. So
Yeah, like Lane said, the Scorch definitely set the bar very high for Xenomorph figures. Fig, I know you probably don't have much to say about it because it's not something on your radar, but any thoughts on how this one turned out, other than the fact, like, again, you're super happy for your friend that he's getting this awesome stuff, and yeah, any additional thoughts on that?
It's just all about you. No, I mean, look. I think it's a banger. I think it looks cool. I think it does look a bit better than Big Chap. But Scorched is I feel like the best Alien figure. Like, if I was to buy one, that's probably the one I would get, because it just embodies what they probably would have tried to do back in the 80s and 70s, like for the 80s for these kind of movies, like with CGI, if they had that type of technology.
Yeah.
So for me, this still looks good though, especially with the Ripley they just released. It's nice. You could create a whole scene like you were talking about with multiple eggs, and I think it's a good look. I like the blue hue it has to it too. That's like a really nice touch.
Yeah,
That's that blue you wanted on your Batman and Robin, right?
Yeah, they're saving all the paint for this figure. That's some bullshit, man. I had to pay all this money to get them customized.
Disrespectful, bro.
Yeah, look, it's the same fucking paint, man. This is some bullshit. But
crazy.
yeah, I agree. I love the paint job. Yeah, it is. That's some bullshit, man. Crazy. Oh, so you had the paint this whole time, huh? Yeah, these are some great poses. These are some great poses. I'll give them that. Like, they did a great
The seamless
job.
arms are a nice touch too.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I saw somebody complaining about that. I was very surprised. But that's a stealable pose right there. I really like that one. But yeah, unfortunately, Chris got kicked out. I don't know if he's like just getting home or something, but I guess we'll move on without him. If he has nothing to say about the Alien Warrior, huh? This next one, I might have an interesting take on this one. So, and we do have a topic to go along with this one, because I've seen a lot of discussion of this. So as we take a look at these photos, we'll kind of share our thoughts on this as well. So, for those of you that don't know, InArt, though they said, and I'm going to remind them of this, that they said this. They said they would not revisit any characters. They said that maybe in the far future they might revisit Heath Ledger Joker, just because that was their first figure, and they feel like they've improved so much since then. But they said they would not be revisiting characters, and unfortunately, they did. Now, I know there's a lot of you that are very excited about this, and look, I'm happy for you guys who were able to get an opportunity, but it still doesn't change the fact that this was a Hot Toys move through and through. InArt doesn't do this. we buy from InArt because not only is their quality incredible and their consistency is incredible, but because they are committed to doing stuff that's different. And to see them revisit Pennywise already, just to give you guys a little bit of a context, yes, this is a different figure. This is from the Welcome to Derry TV show. The original one was from the films. But InArt did say on many occasions they weren't going to revisit any figures. And here's the thing, right? Here's the biggest thing about this. The first Pennywise was one of their worst selling figures ever. And they're on record saying that. When John used to do all those streams, he's said that multiple times. He said it was like, I think at one point, I don't want to misquote him, I think he said it sold less than 500 units. Like, very limited figure. So that's why it sells for like 2K on eBay and stuff. Close to 2K if you get like the all-in set with both sculpts. It's because there weren't that many made. It's not because everybody wants a Pennywise figure. It's because there weren't that many being made. Maybe when this show first came out, a lot of people really wanted Pennywise. And I'm very surprised that they waited so long, because that hype has very much died down for a lot of people. But there is a saving grace. And as a selfish collector in this moment, I'm happy, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, you asshole. I'm happy this doesn't have rooted hair. I'm happy it doesn't have a diorama base, because it makes me feel a little bit better about it. Again, because this is not an InArt move. This is like what Hot Toys, we're used to Hot Toys doing this type of stuff. I'm not happy that InArt has gone this route. So, you know what? I know a lot of people wanted the rooted hair, and I totally get it, but I'm also at the same time, if I'm being a selfish collector in this moment, I'm very happy that I have something exclusive, that being a diorama base and the rooted hair head sculpts. That being said, I see zero reason to pick this one up. Had they done like a fully bloodied version, I may have considered it. But with this one, you know, you got sculpted hair. I also prefer how his hair is styled in the films. I don't really like this like little curly cue at the top of his head. But he does look good. He looks very good. This head is sick, especially if you have some like really cool lighting like this. It looks great. Now, I want to say this too. I'm going to kind of like, and obviously we don't have a full picture of everything he comes with, because they kind of show us glimpses and here and there, but obviously he doesn't come with that much. And as we all kind of share our thoughts on this, the topic I have on screen is like, why is InArt including less with every release? Once everybody gets a chance to share their thoughts, we'll kind of like briefly close out our InArt discussion with that, because we're going to talk about the T800 as well after this. But that's my thoughts on the Pennywise. I think he looks great. I'm happy for those that are able to pick him up. I'm not happy that InArt has revisited this character. It's not typical of how they do things. And call it selfish, I don't care. I don't like it. You know, I don't want to see InArt revisiting characters like this. This is not their style. But I am happy for you guys that are able to pick it up, truly. Like, I know a lot of people are excited about it. So for those of you guys that didn't pre-order the first one, this is hopefully a rare second chance at a character from InArt. If they go back and do Harry Potter again and Gandalf, I'm done buying shit from them. That's it. I'm drawing the line. I'm probably not. But I'm going to be pissed. I will be pissed. But let me jump to you, Sal, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this, because we were kind of briefly talking about this, because, you know, I posted my little joke on my story when this first dropped. I was like, oh, I didn't know Howard Chan started working at Hot Toys. But Sal, how do you feel about InArt revisiting this character already, and how do you feel about how the figure looks as a whole?
Yeah, I'm a little divided as well. I think it's kind of a lowball move. It feels like a little bit cash grabby, especially because like this show is not like premiering like this year or anything.
Yeah.
But it's a damn good figure. Like, the more I look at it, it's just,
Yeah.
it's somehow better even with sculpted hair. I don't know. If it wasn't good, it'd be a lot easier to be like, yeah, this is not a good move. I do agree with you though that revisiting characters it's so soon, I think too is a little, I don't know. I mean, you can't blame the company for wanting to make some money, so it's like I think there's a balance though between like what makes sense for business and a little bit like integrity. I think InArt is the type of company that is a little bit more for collectors. At least that's like the kind of sentiment I get from them is like, you know, they want to do right by the collector. They want to do like things that aren't really being made. They want to bring competition, and their existence is kind of like really pushed all that forward. But at the same time, I think they came out of the gate swinging, and I think they quickly realized that like this is a tough game to be in, and I think they're kind of course correcting on production. I don't think you can do giant diorama bases for everything you put out. I don't think you can do multiple head sculpts, and especially like the kind of demand that 1/6 kind of has. Like we can wait a year, but then when that window is approaching and we're kind of expecting something to be released and it doesn't, that there's a lot of negativity that surrounds that, and I think they realize that. So I think scaling down production is a smart move, but I think also the price has to kind of meet there as well. Um, but yeah, I mean this thing's dope as hell, and I know a lot of people are gonna pick it up. Um, and I don't even know if it's because of the hype of the first figure. I just don't know if anybody really had like their eye on InArt like that to start. I don't know. And I do know a lot of people that actually have become Pennywise fans because of the show. And I know the show has been a lot more accessible. I've also heard the show like goes a little further than the films do in terms of like subject matter and like gore and all that stuff. So I think it's made a lot of fans out of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, I don't know. I hate playing the middle, by the way. Like I usually love to be on one side or the other, but like I'm kind of stuck here because I do realize the like how much this sucks for, you know, people who are like, oh, even like me, like I want my Matrix shit, man. Like go do something else, you know. But yeah, this is incredible looking. I mean, look at the eyes and the detail, and it's great.
Yeah. No, yeah, I totally agree. And, you know, got comments coming in. I know you have to leave here in a second, but Alec is saying that revisiting characters is good for the health of the line over time. There needs to be multiple opportunities to get characters, especially if they have distinct looks like Man of Superman and Gandalf. I mean, you know, yes, I think this one's a bit different though, because it is essentially the same figure, just with weathered clothing, and yes, we have new head sculpts, so that's cool. The other weird thing about this one is, like I said earlier, the price point, it's like a little over $400 if we factor in like Kit's upcharge that he's going to have to charge. So, you know, you kind of lose a bit of value, because I can't recall the exact price of the all-in deluxe set with the two head sculpts, the first version, but I think it was like pretty affordable in like the $500 range, and it had two rooted hair head sculpts. So yeah, I mean you guys are totally right though. I mean, I guess like you could also make that argument about the MOS version, and maybe it's a bit hypocritical of me to be upset about, but maybe it's just in a culmination of all of it, right? Like they said they wouldn't revisit characters, and now we're seeing MOS, and now we're seeing, like, would I want the MOS? Probably. I'll probably end up picking that up, but I would have been perfectly fine with just the BVS. You know, at the end of the day, kind of going off of what Sal was saying, is like stuff like this in the production line takes up space for other things. Like I know everybody that loves Lord of the Rings wants Frodo and Sam and all these other characters, and then, you know, people that are looking for Matrix figures, you know, right now we got Jazz Inc. teasing them, and then InArt saying nothing, and then you got me who really wants Supergirl and why am I blanking? Lobo. I really want Supergirl and Lobo, and I didn't pre-order the Hot Toys ones because I'm waiting to see InArt, and, you know, I'm hoping that InArt times it appropriately with the release of the film. So it's like when you have stuff like this, and again, I would even argue against the MOS. Like, genuinely speaking, I don't need the MOS. It's cool, and if they're going to do it, I like the MOS suit. But if we can sacrifice getting alternate versions of the same characters for them to continue to do different stuff, like for Harry Potter, I really want Sirius Black and other characters, I would prefer not to see this. And, you know, with Hot Toys, it's a bit easier for them to pull this off because their scalability is much bigger than InArt, but we know InArt had production issues for quite some time, and now they've since sorted that out. And obviously they're oh, sorry, Fig, I didn't see you're waiting in the back end. They've since sorted it out, and obviously this topic we're going to talk about will kind of explain that. But Sal, I know you have to go. I don't want to hold you up any further because I know you got to make it to a movie. I appreciate you, my friend. I'm glad you were finally able to make it on, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for having me.
Of course, bro. Enjoy your movie.
Sal the GOAT.
See ya.
Yeah. Yeah, this is also something that would have been it would have made a bit more sense to me is if they did like that fully bloodied look, and I saw somebody photoshopped that and was like messing with people and saying like, oh, they're gonna do another version. Yeah, they didn't do that, but JVHS said, I see different proportions and the head looks like a lot more like the character. Dude, I don't know. You have to see the other one in person. I don't know if you have or not, but the other one looks really good. I think these head sculpts are great. Like I said, it is a great looking figure, but I don't think me personally, I don't think that's a fair way to like say that the original one doesn't look good, because I think the sculpts on the original one are very good. Especially the open mouth head sculpt. That head sculpt is like probably one of the best head sculpts in my entire collection. It's really insane, but they both look great. Like I said, I'm happy for you guys that are able to pick this up. I'm just not happy that InArt continues to revisit figures like this. I just don't like it. You know, Alec, I think it really depends on what figure we're talking about. I think the best value in quite some time has been that T800 2-pack. Was their hand kind of forced on that one in a way? Yeah, but that is a great value. Very great value. But if this figure is like 400 plus, and from what we're seeing, it doesn't come with a lot, I don't know if I could say the same about this one personally.
I mean, we've been facing this with them, though, a little bit, even earlier with just the T800, even though it makes sense kind of given the scene when the endoskeleton actually appears. But still, it's a more expensive figure without anything on top of the figure. But even back to the Catwoman, DKR, she hardly comes with anything at all. And there are other things, you know, with her they could have included. But that's just the route they're going right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. And, you know, Batman Collectibles, you're totally right. Maybe I'm assuming that companies aren't here to make money and that they wouldn't go against their word in a heartbeat. Maybe I had a false expectation. Or maybe, just maybe, I'm hoping that InArt does better than Hot Toys, because Hot Toys, we know what they do, we know what they're capable of, and we know this is kind of like a common practice for them. Yeah, I love that Sideshow 1990 Pennywise. That's a great figure. This will look great.
The Tim Curry one is great.
Yeah, the Tim
Curry. For as much as I like Billy Stargard, I think I find Tim Curry's Pennywise more creepy.
Yeah, 100%. Alex said, InArt has cut down on accessories, but also had really good prices mostly this year. Yeah, I mean, you know, and I think, again, we're going to kind of talk about more about the topic at hand once everybody kind of shares their thoughts on this Pennywise. But I do think there's a reason that they've cut down on accessories, and it's been very clear with the pace in which they've picked up when it comes to releasing things. Fig, I want to jump to you because I know you keep getting kicked out, so I want you to be able to make your point on this. But any thoughts on this Pennywise, and then how do you feel about, you know, because you're a big collector of InArt like a lot of us are, like how do you feel about them revisiting this character? And even, like, you know, others have pointed out we already lost him. Okay, well, when he gets back in here we'll bring up the topic at the end. But same question for you, Lane. Did you have any thoughts on this Pennywise as a whole? And like
I think it looks great. I think this is a great, well, here, go ahead.
Fig, do we have you? Are you stable? I guess not. Go ahead, Lane.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't like my question.
yeah, he said peace out. I actually really like the figure. I like the first one better, but I didn't get it. I didn't even try and get it because I didn't want to mess with the hair. Honestly, I was very much not in rooted hair mode when that one came out, except that's kind of what made me hesitate too long on Gandalf, like, and everything way back then. But if you want to think you don't like rooted hair, but you like Pennywise, this is perfect for you. Quite honestly, because because I think the head sculpt's just as good. It does now. The one head sculpt with the big kind of monstrous like grin and stuff like that, the more beastly face, you're not going to get that with this, obviously, with that particular look.
This is the sculpt I'd use. This sculpt's
yeah,
dope, dude.
Yeah, nice and frightening looking. I think he comes with enough to help that works with the characters. Yeah. But it really depends on the price for this guy. If he's like $400 or more, I think that's a little bit much for him. With what this guy comes with and everything, I know we say usually InArt is, quote, more premium than Hot Toys, but this shouldn't be more than $325.
It's due to the licensing, unfortunately, because when you do the math, that is about what it is directly through InArt. So to be fair, I mean, it's not their fault. It's like, you know, we have people like Kit and Spec Fiction and other places that carry it that were able to access it here in North America, especially, and obviously other places where it's not worldwide.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying for the regular retail price.
But yeah, for us,
it might be a little bit more for importing.
Yeah, when you talk about pricing, you always have to consider like their main customer base for the licensing. So like it is fairly priced. It's just we kind of get fucked over because of the licensing. They can't get it worldwide, so we have to pay extra money to get it from a middleman, you know?
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying if it was equal to, you know, $350 or something like that, I might say is Kaiju. I can't believe that for a second.
I mean,
sorry, I'm going to disagree.
Kaiju's full of crap on the last part, but I will say this. John did kind of take a step back and start caring more about 112 scale. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. They do have a heavy focus on 112. Not to say that they're like giving up on 1/6. Kaiju's full of crap there, but yeah.
Yeah, but they might be more balanced in and out as part of their line where they're not doing as much 1/6, but doing 1/12 a little bit more part of it. And they've done a really good job with the 1/12 scale, except I know the Batman Who Laughs look just made you crazy. Other than that,
I just don't like their comics though. I think their comic stuff is rough.
Yeah,
I'm just not a fan of it.
But you know, I think it's a solid figure. But this isn't just one. I can say like, hey, you absolutely got to go get it, kind of figure. Like, because I'm not interested in that. I was kind of thinking about it, but if I'm going to get an InArt, it's going to be the T800. Like, the endoskeleton is much more my jam.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, Alec, I think this is probably some of their best sculpted hair. I'll give them that. Like, in some shots where it's like in the dark, it kind of plays pretty nicely as rooted hair. Like when you go, let me see. There's that one shot that I had pulled up, and I'm like, yeah, like right here, like from far away, that looks pretty good. It looks like, you know, not from far, not that you have to view it from far back for it to look good, but you get what I'm saying. It like almost looks like rooted hair in this shot. You know, I was very skeptical about the first Pennywise because of the rooted hair, and I'm like, how the hell is it going to keep that shape? But mine's had no issues. I think the product is like perfect that they used in it. There has not been any updates for the Wonder Woman. As of right now, we just assume that it's going to be on time. I agree, Adam. That's kind of what I'm getting at, you know? Like, yeah, I like the MOS Superman. It is cool, and I do want it, but I don't need it, you know? I would much prefer, like, freaking Sirius Black, or people get their Sam and Frodo, you know? Like
Aquaman.
Yeah, Aquaman would be cool, too, because the Hot Toys ones are kind of rough, both of them. Let's see. Sorry, there's another... Let me see. Pennywise is insane. It's a great-looking figure, you know? Despite my opinion on them doing another Pennywise, I'm very pleased with how it looks. I think it looks great. Like I said, it's just unfortunate the price point it's going to hit is going to be kind of rough. And again, that's not InArt's fault. That's licensing for you. But yeah, I mean, sure. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, this is something that's much easier to switch in their fit into their schedule. It's just like, I guess we got to wait and see. Maybe this will make more sense as we look at like the next 6 months for InArt, because we don't know what they're going to surprise us with. They just announced that little event that they're doing. Maybe they'll surprise us with a bunch of rooted hair. And I saw a bunch of people in the comments saying like, oh, this needs rooted hair. You're not getting rooted hair on this. It's not going to happen. They're doing this as sculpted for a reason, because they're like, okay, you guys are asking for this Pennywise. Let's see if you put your money where your mouth is. But let's be real, guys. I will 100% say that this show really brought people into the fandom of this character, because there was a Hot Toys version that sat and was a peg warmer forever, and then there was the InArt version, and it sold less than 500 copies according to John from InArt. And that Hot Toys version really wasn't bad at the time. That was a pretty solid offering from Hot Toys. I had it, and I ended up selling it to get the InArt one long before. I got the InArt one like about 2 months after it released, where I got some major FOMO, and I sold my Hot Toys one. Oh, the event starts today. Okay, cool. So maybe we'll see some other stuff from them, because 2 pre-orders within a week is pretty freaking unheard of from InArt. Yes, I think so. I think it'll, based on the pricing that we saw, I think on Kit it will be 400 plus, and then you factor in tariffs and stuff. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it, I guess the silver lining is it does come with 2 head sculpts at least. But Fig, I want to jump to you, because sorry, I was obviously trying to give you a chance there, and the connection wasn't having it for you. But any thoughts on this figure, and then thoughts of InArt revisiting this character, and also like others brought up the MOS Superman, and eventually obviously Gandalf the White, which I know a lot of people want.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it big picture, I could see that basically this right here was a major surprise. Nobody was expecting it. And like you said, it is kind of like a low blow to people that either paid the high or paid what you paid, like near regular price, retail price. So I personally feel like this is kind of like a weird move, but I'm not opposed to it. I mean, I wasn't going to get it either way, but I kind of like the fact that, a few other people can get their hands on it. It's sculpted. It's probably going to be easier to make. I was mentioning to you earlier how Hot Toys always has those set figures that you like clones or something like that, where they can just easily
crank them out,
print money. You know what I'm saying? So InArt needs cash flow like that too. I mean, they can't just keep making new things as a new company when they're getting bashed left and right, and going up against these other companies with easy cash flow figures like that. This is, in their mind, like an easy cash flow figure, and hopefully it works out for them, and we can benefit from it in long run with other releases that we don't see coming, because right now this year from InArt has been a pleasant surprise for me. Like before we knew what they were going to release, right? We had an idea of all the things they've shown or talked about. Oh yeah, that's going to be coming out soon. But now we really don't know what's going to be coming out. They really have us on the edge of our seats, like in complete surprise. So I'm excited to see what's next. I know Saruman is coming up next soon, and I need that. But my only one complaint with InArt is just one major complaint. It's that I need more accessories. I need more dio bases. You need to bring these back, or at least do something like Jazz Inc., where you add a SKU, like an extra SKU, where if somebody wants to pay a little extra money, they can get a dio base for the appropriate figure. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying for every figure, but for certain figures, they should get a dio base that you can pay a little more for. So I don't know. That's just my complaint. Like, I feel like it's just getting less and less, and they're kind of too honed in on the concept of like, oh, speed it up, speed it up. You're pretty quick now. Hot Toys is the ones that are taking long. Look at Artisan Harley. It's like you could take it easy. Add a few months if it means we get a little bit more. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Chris and I have talked about this a lot. I think they learned their lesson the hard way with Harry Potter specifically, because he came with so much stuff, like an unending amount of stuff. And you could see it just within that line. Release after release, they came with less and less. And, I love my accessories. And I'm one of those weirdos that, like, even if it's, like, in a bag somewhere, I love having it, because that's, like, the artistry of the figure. It's like, holy shit, they made tiny little chocolate frog cards that are actually holographic. They made, a tiny little Ollivander's wand box. They made a broom with real bristles, and J&D made the figures after them, and they didn't even do that. You know what I mean? So I love accessories. I'm a very appreciative of accessories. I'm less appreciative nowadays of dio bases, and I know you love your dio bases, and I love them too. But when you collect at a
Mhm.
certain volume, you realize that you do not need as many of these dio bases, because it's like if you collect, a certain amount from this line, like look, let's say I wanted to get this Pennywise to go with my first version. That dio base is already pretty big, though they did a great job at scaling it so it doesn't take up too much room. It's still pretty big. Do I really want to have another dio base in the display? Well, I guess it depends on the type of collector you are. For me, when I have like large garage shelves and I have figures next to each other, I don't need 30 dio bases. Now, Chris knows I love my dios. I do. But I don't need it for every single figure. So I totally understand what you're saying. Like, and maybe the real solution for this is to just offer a SKU with just the dio base by itself. And they started to do that. They were offering those really cool, like Lord of the Rings style bases, and I thought those all were really nice. Maybe they should do more of that. So that way, hey, we can keep our production up. Because I almost guarantee you that they probably have another team working on bases. A lot of these companies, even Hot Toys sometimes, will pay other companies to do their bases. So they could work that out, But let's see. Oh, we got Moose in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for being a hotline hottie. As always, Moose says, hello, community of collectors. I'm late. Why? I went to see Obsession for free. My opinion, I got my money's worth. I pre-ordered the Alien Warrior, but I'll need more. Yeah, I enjoyed Obsession. I really did. I thought it was a fun movie, and, it's awesome to see, films with such small budgets do incredibly well,
I just seen that on Sunday. That was I don't really get scared or really too excited about movies like that, but the way she was moving in that movie was wild. That was the wildest part.
Yeah, she killed it. That actress killed it. She did a great job of just being super creepy. I really loved her performance. Yeah, she did great.
I felt bad for her.
Yeah, you certainly did. Yeah, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
Alex says, I'm just really glad there's a high-quality figure of Pennywise, specifically from the show. Can't believe Hot Toys never did this. I think the show's success... surprised companies. Yeah, I mean, I remember when the show first came out, I was just very surprised that the show is what it took to get people to like this character, because I loved the first two Skarsgård It films. I thought they were great. I really loved them, and
yeah, they were.
That was enough. Yeah, that was enough for me to get the figure, because I love those movies. But 100% that show did so well, and I remember when it was like at its height, people were talking about it nonstop, and people were clamoring for this figure. So I get it, trust me. That's all right. We all have our own greedy hot takes. Like with me, I said I was glad this didn't have rooted hair. We all have our own greedy hot takes. Joe says, hello, agree with the last point. Seems like InArt is getting better at releasing figures on time. Hot Toys is falling way behind. Yeah, Joe, I saw which I also actually just got my Chewbacca as well. And I was telling Fig, I think Hot Toys, I think they realized that they were releasing the Artisan stuff too fast, because I've noticed the recent Artisan stuff I've received has been better. Not to say that their hairlines and everything are on the same level as InArt, because they never will be. But they are getting better. I really am very happy with Chewbacca. I'm pissed that it took so long. But Chewbacca, I just got incredible, and Beetlejuice. They did a beautiful job rooting both of those head sculpts. And I've been very critical recently of their hairlines and stuff. I think Beetlejuice and Chewbacca turned out great. Very happy with them.
And those weren't even Artisans.
They weren't even Artisans, but they did take forever. They took forever. I could not believe that I just got Beetlejuice. Like, I was just thinking about that the other day. But I'm very happy with him. Like the one where he's got his eyeball sticking out in the tongue, the way his hair comes to basically looks like a fountain, like water fountain. They did a great job. It looks great. But maybe
how Artisan should be. Like the way
100%,
Beetlejuice is with the cool base, with the two heads, that's what an Artisan is to me. Like back it up with as much as you can with premium things.
It's crazy. He's got Officer Doofy as his profile picture. I love it. But yeah, I agree. No, I agree. I think the Artisan line as a whole needs a bit of an adjustment in terms of what's included. If you're going to call something Artisan, we need the best materials and more accessories, and it's more premium experience like we get with InArt. What's up, Blue? Good to see you, my friend. Another hotline hottie. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. JVHS and guys, sorry, Chris. Before I go through reading all these comments, I want you to share your thoughts real quick. We do have to pick up our pace a little bit. We have a few more quick topics. I want to talk about the T800, but Chris, if you have any thoughts on Pennywise before we move on to the T800, please jump in. Is he even here? Okay, Chris isn't even here, so
Cricket,
guess,
cricket, cricket.
yeah. Well, you missed your opportunity, Chris. So we're gonna move on from Pennywise. Real quick, shout out to Justin. We're just gonna have his video playing in the background. I'll kind of share some thoughts on what he talked about, and we'll just like kind of quickly share our thoughts on the T800. Major Payne says, "Man, I need a job." Hey, even if we all have one, we all want more money, you know. They're working on a Batman computer desk. I know Jazz Inc. is working on an '89 Batman diorama piece with all the Batcave computers, and they're working with Doggy Doc on them, which I'm a huge fan of. I don't have money to collect all of his stuff, but I'm very excited for that. Guys, T800 Endoskeleton from InArt. So real quick, I'll flash this photo on screen before we get into this video, because I'm actually just going to use this video instead of going through all InArt's photos. But if you're curious how much diecast this sucker has, it's quite a bit of diecast on this guy. So if you're curious, of course, this photo is on InArt's page, but we're going to jump back to Justin's Collections video because he did do a figure preview. I will start by saying I did pre-order this figure, and I'll put it in chat, guys, if you want to pre-order from Kit. Now, I will say this. I do not get any kickbacks for this whatsoever. I don't get any kickbacks for this. But, as I mentioned earlier, when I was doing the math, I realized that without the free shipping deals from InArt Direct, Kit is actually cheaper for me. With that being said, you also get $10 off if you use my coupon code. So if you're curious or considering picking this up, keep in mind those coupon codes only last about, I think Kit usually lets them run for about 2.5 weeks or so. You'll want to use it now, because if it's expired, I can't help you. But I know it works because I use it myself, and I saw quite a few other people on the 1/6 Kit page that used it. But I did pre-order this from Kit. I want to start by saying I think he looks great. One of the criticisms on this one that really bugged me was people saying the legs are too short. And a lot of the reasoning behind that was people saying, well, it doesn't line up with Arnold Schwarzenegger's proportions. That's because it didn't. That's why they changed the endoskeleton for the second film. They streamlined the design, and it looks a lot better in my opinion. The legs are the appropriate length. If you look at behind the scenes of the Stan Winston puppets and all the different props they made of the endoskeleton for the '84 film, that's how short the legs are. They're that short.
They gave the T800 a more almost like gorilla kind of feel to it, bigger, hulking upper body, shorter legs kind of thing, which given like usually when you saw this thing, it was at night or in really, where they were able to put darkness even inside like the building or something.
Right. It was very crude, but it worked,
Yeah, but it was to give it a big, like giving it kind of almost that large gorilla kind of body type, gave it a more hulking, non-human feel, which was to help separate the endoskeleton from the Arnold look, to give him a more alien, monstrous design, which is different than the endoskeleton of Terminator 2, which was obviously still terrifying looking, but a more sci-fi, almost traditional sci-fi robot feel, kind of to the more modern ones. And these guys are different.
Yeah, and there's pictures of these guys like literally on a pole, and they're holding them just their torso. And I mean, look at Arnold's makeup when he's battle damaged in the '84, the first film. He looks terrible, but it worked because at the time that was like the magic of practical effects. But
and we do have to keep in mind too, even though it's T800, this is a different model, a more advanced, powerful model than the regular endoskeletons that you see in the movie. Infiltrators are way more powerful they're like literally as powerful as multiple of those regular endoskeletons put together, because they're more intelligent and just physically stronger. So that's why it's bulkier.
Yeah. Cliff, I will get one from Kit as long as he doesn't say no, which I'm sure he won't. If he does, I'll tell you right now, it'll be HTH Penny. That's what it'll be, because I get to tell Kit like what I'd like it to be. He just asks. It'll be HTH Penny. So when it comes time, I'll probably reach out to him before. I think the Pennywise goes live on the 18th. I'll reach out to him tomorrow and get that activated, and it'll obviously be available just for Pennywise when he goes up. Game Shift, I don't know. I feel like I call BS on that, because you can not that you're not BS at what you're saying, but the fact that would be the case. the T2 design is 100% different. It's not the same mold. It's a different design altogether. Like, yes, there are some similar design cues, but they definitely changed the T2 endoskeleton for the second film. So maybe some of the parts were molded from the same molds, but there's no way that that's the exact same mold. No way. Alex says, if I remember correctly, the original T800 was designed to fit inside Arnold at his biggest, most muscular size, which is why it's so top heavy. Yeah, and I will say, like, for InArt, the one thing that I'll say is maybe the upper torso needs to be, it's like maybe a bit too long. Maybe it needs to be a bit shorter. And also, like, these pistons here, I think they're a little bit too short there. They need to be a little bit longer. And, like, you know, if you really nitpick, some of the wiring and stuff could be better. But generally speaking, and someone asked if this has more diecast than the Hot Toys, 100% it has more diecast. The Hot Toys mainly has it for structural reasons. This is just a flex piece. You know, this is basically, I don't know, what would you say, like 85% diecast, 80% diecast? It's a lot of diecast. It's a beautiful piece. I will say my biggest complaint about this, other than like the minor discrepancies in the proportions, the eyeballs not being USB powered is crazy to me. And not only that, they're dim as shit. You could see here, Justin's got it in low lighting. They're very dim. They're not going to last very long. It's button cell batteries. My suggestion with this, there's like multiple things they could have considered. One, they could have made it so the figure kind of charges through the base. We've seen that technology is like readily available now. My idea that I kind of liked was they put a rechargeable battery in the back of his head, and maybe like through a magnetic connection, you can like magnetize the cable to the back of his head if you need to charge it. Like, you know, they do that like magnetic coil stuff. There's just, and then maybe you can like disconnect it and the head stays charged for a while, or if you have it plugged in as like a pass through, the eyes would be brighter. You know, there's just so many things they could have done. I think that them just going magnetic button cell battery activation, like, I think that's super unfortunate, because this is such a beautiful piece. 75%.
I feel like they should have had a wire from the head sculpt going straight through the body. Like, not because the head sculpt is not going to be removable. So just have a wire from the head going straight through the body and out of the back and into a junction box, like similar to Hot Toys. That
like Hot Toys does. Yeah,
that would have been beautiful right there. They saying it would have, you know, messed with the design, but I'm like, if you did something like that, there's already a hole in the back. You could have easily had that wire coming out of the hole in the back, and it would have been nice. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very strange.
But batteries feels like, oh, good.
So, Alec, no, it's not. The Genesis endoskeleton design is actually very different.
The Genesis one is way different.
I hate how they changed the... Yeah, it's not. I will say, I'm going to tell you this right now. I think Hot Toys did a pretty awesome job on their T2 endoskeleton. I do think InArt did a better job on the mouth, though. Hot Toys' mouth doesn't look bad, but I love how InArt executed the teeth. It's perfect. They did a great job.
Where Hot Toys has done better is the base, because they made it. Now, they're limited a little bit because of where this thing mostly, you see the T800 from the movie and the Cyberdyne building.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change the fact that the base is much better for the other one.
Yeah, with the crushed skulls and everything. Like, yeah, and you get the pulse rifles with the T2 endoskeleton, which is not InArt's fault. That's just what, you know, how the endoskeleton was depicted.
So and the thing is, I can see where. Yeah.
Justin's suggestion in this video, which I don't really know, I am not good with electronics, but Justin was suggesting that maybe InArt, because to his credit, he did say that he wasn't happy with how the eyes were functioning and everything, in terms of like them not being USB powered, them being a little bit dim.
Yeah, button cell at this point.
Yeah, he was suggesting, and that's probably what he's panning to here in this part of the video. He was saying they should run a wire up through this pole and kind of have it plug in through his like abdomen or lower abdomen area.
It goes right up his butt.
I mean, you know, there was ways around this, just doing the button cell batteries.
Yeah, it looks really good though. Like, this figure looks really good, man.
It looks fantastic. Like I said, even with the minor discrepancies, like someone was pointing out, like them shortening the abdomen, and like I said, those pistons in the abdomen area need to be a little bit longer. But Generally speaking, those are just nitpicks in my opinion. And again, I have no issue with the length of the legs. They're very accurate in my opinion.
And during the, because I watched, like actually I was in and in the chat everything during both of their live streams for this.
I missed both of them, dude.
I figure they're going to be doing one of those probably for Pennywise or something this week.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
But this one, unlike the Batman and stuff, like I will say I was a little bothered because some people were asking about figures and stuff that was not like, I think they forget sometimes that those are promotions for the specific figure that they're showing.
I'm not gonna lie, that's me in the chat every single time.
I'm sure.
That's me every time. I'm like,
I know. But
would you do Sirius Black though?
That's yeah. I know. Yes, I know.
Fig too. I know Fig's in the comments too.
I know.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, I know.
And Kiru had to retire after us.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I brought on someone.
I don't understand, but I will just say I get bothered by that sometimes. I'm like, this is about this figure, not other stuff.
Guilty as charged. Like I said, I will make comments on the figure, but then like after you know, look, those streams are 2 hours. How long can you talk about the same stream? It's over and over again.
I know. I'm just saying, like I understand what they're actually trying to do with it. So.
To their credit, Lane, they actually finally did touch this damn figure.
And no. That's what I was going to say. Is the one
they go off on their own anyway. They like where's Daenerys?
Did you see the bent piston on the back?
It's bent.
Like there was like a bent piston on the back when they were posing them around.
Yeah,
because I didn't catch that.
Because that's the way it's supposed to look. Because that's from damage received. After the
I thought you sorry, I thought you were saying they literally bent it like it happened on stream. Sorry, I literally briefly looked at the stream.
On Reddit. I don't know. Yeah,
it's bent already because that's from battle damage from the explosion, the truck explosion that happened too.
Yeah, articulated fingers. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think this figure, but I can totally see now. I completely get why people like if you're trying to decide between the two. I completely understand getting the Hot Toys one. If nothing more, it's cheaper. You get more stuff. It's got a better base, So this one I can see is kind of a hard tell. Well, of course, because they're
They have been getting better. But
they did actually answer some stuff about different figure stuff too later on.
Oh, I thought that was off limits, dude.
I know. I'm just saying that they did.
I'm just messing with you. It's fine.
I know. I'm not saying that people will think. I just get bothered a little bit by it because it's a sales thing for whatever the stupid item they're talking about. Now, they also get asked 5,000 times the same thing.
Yeah.
But
I just didn't like when they wouldn't put the hat on. Dumbledore, they're like, oh, tune into the stream tomorrow. It's like, dude, touch the fucking figure. It's a prototype. I get it, but it's your figure. Oh man, what if it breaks? What are we gonna do? I don't know. You're the people that make the figure. You could just replace it.
Yeah, but they did, like you said. Actually, I wasn't sure if they would, but they actually did articulate it. I thought.
Yeah, that's what I briefly saw.
Not everything, but like they did the arms and showed that the jaw actually was articulated completely too. And I think they did with at least showing off some of the functionality, and I think they did a pretty good job of showing off what the figure could do. But a lot of people were asking for other accessories and stuff. I'm like, guys, we're not going to get this one. I actually think have more of a reason where you would ask for Pennywise, maybe trying to see something else with him or something. But the reason this one is so expensive is just because it's all the freaking diecast. I mean,
and like
he's as much as like I don't know, like Superior Iron Man that should be coming out later this summer.
Yeah, he's what like $435 directly through InArt before shipping. That's
or $425, I think.
It's pricey and it doesn't come with anything. And again, like they could have included like some swap out parts, but the base itself. Very uninspiring. Justin actually mentioned in here, like, why don't they include a second base with this as like an incentive because you could use that for the second figure with the T800 Arnie pack. Not a bad idea at all. But obviously for people that didn't get that and they're just getting this one, they just have a base for nothing. But he was kind of framing it as though like maybe it could also be interchangeable for this one. So I guess that's okay. Evan Jelly, what's up? He says the Hot Toys clears for me. And by the way, what's up? Who did I miss? Oh, Jazzy. I kind of waved to you, but I didn't know if you saw me. He said the Hot Toys clears for me, cheaper than InArts and comes with way more. I'm not gonna care about the diecast when I'm not touching it. At an endo without a gun feels too weird. Yeah, I mean the Hot Toys does have diecast components, not as much, but they all have their own charm. I mean, obviously, like for me, if I were to pick one, the streamlined design of the T2 endoskeleton paired with the double pulse rifles, I mean, you really can't get much better than that in my opinion for a T2 display. I actually picked up 2 of those because I wanted one with like the battle damage arm. But also there's something to be said about just a T800 endo just walking at you, knowing that it's crushing force and power. It doesn't need a gun to destroy you, you know what I mean? But I totally get it. It is a cooler display to have the pulse rifles. Yeah, that's Hot Toys specialty, reuse and reuse. It still looks cool though. They love to reuse those Predator bases a lot too. Yeah, and I do think this thing's going to feel super cool in hand, and I'm very excited to feel the engineering on this thing, because this is like new territory for InArt. Hot Toys has plenty of experience with diecast and, doing stuff like this. This is kind of new territory for them, so I'm excited to see how it turns out. Yeah, the bases, they become... I don't mind the Pennywise one, because it does tell a bit of a story. This one's just very uninspired, in my opinion. Very uninspired base.
What kind of metal did they say this was made from?
Was it like some sort of metal
She
alloy?
mentioned it, but I don't remember.
Oh, if it was only on the stream, I missed that then.
Zinc. She said zinc or something?
Yeah. Maybe because it doesn't corrode from touching it. I'm guessing that's why they chose that. Yes, they are doing the MOS Superman. Yep. They actually showed a little bit of a teaser on Superman Day of that. Chris, did you have any... You haven't really been able to say much about this one. We kind of have to speed it up here. We're going to be wrapping it up very shortly, and then I kind of want to share my final thoughts on the topic at hand, but we do have 2 more quick little things I want to show before we head out. But do you have any thoughts on the endoskeleton? Is this one on your radar at all? I have a feeling probably not, because you're more into T2 over T1, but curious to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the diecast aspect of it. That's probably why I would get it, because I'd prefer diecast, like the feel. But then I'm like, T2 is more nostalgic for me, what I grew up with. But
zinc alloy, okay.
But yeah, I agree with some of the points you guys said. Like, as far like by now, it shouldn't be these stupid button cell batteries. They should definitely have some USB feature, whether it's a plug-in through the back, which I wouldn't care. I like your point, how you said, it's in our display. It going up through the base, through the spot, I feel like that's a lot, and then you wouldn't, like, the posability, you'd lose a little bit. Not that these really pose crazy anyway, but still, if somebody wanted to. So plug-in definitely would have been fine. And then like them not doing accessories or whatever, like I feel like you touched on with the InArt trio or whatever we saw got less and less. Like, I know we were asking, hey, speed up production, whatever, to get these out faster. If they would have told us, like, hey, if we are to do this, we have to cut like accessories out, I probably wouldn't have done that trade-off. So we kind of got what we asked for, as far as production. But honestly,
Agreed.
if I have to wait a little bit more for some accessories, I'd honestly rather do that, because what they did with those with the Joker, like all the grenades and the string attack, like all the money, and like with Harry and having all his the books and the chocolate frogs and like just everything, what he comes with. So I don't want to go too on much about that, but I
No, but I
enjoy that
agree.
stuff much
I agree.
more, and the unboxing experience, because it feels like you're getting your money's worth versus
Yeah.
still almost paying the same that I don't get. But
Yeah, I agree, but I also agree with Fig. We kind of got what we asked for. You know, all of us were complaining about the release time, and
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
that's how
But
they
like,
adjusted for it. It sucks,
but
but
how we if we knew the trade off, like if they're like, hey guys, if we do this, or like you're gonna get what you're asking for, but we're gonna have to cut, you know, things coming with these figure or the premium material, I'd be like, never mind.
yeah, yeah,
Not to mention they're
Once
releasing
you get
quicker
it,
than
here's the thing. We complained. This will be the last thing, and then I'll let you go, Fig. We complained about how long Harry took, but if I'm being honest, once I got him in hand, completely forgot about all of that because I was blown away by how much care went into it.
yeah, yeah. That's very true. Very true. I mean, you know, and to be fair, it's like it's not like every announcement I'm like, oh, it's missing this, it's missing that. Like one that I will defend is like the Wonder Woman. She didn't come with shit, but also there wasn't really much they could have given her from BVS. You know what I mean? So it's like some of the stuff, it's just truly there's really not many options for accessories. This being one of them. To be fair, they could have done battle damage swap out parts, but I think maybe they kind of negated doing that idea because they wanted to make this very structurally sound with the die-cast metal and everything. So there's no excuse for the LED situation. That pisses me off. But other than that, I'm very excited for this. You know, I said I was picking it up. I already pre-ordered it from Kit. But yeah, there are some shortcomings with this one for sure. I don't think that they necessarily pulled him. John just kind of took on a different role. More of like an advisory role as far as I understand, and he's working more with the 112 stuff too. And you know, I kind of prefer the format they're doing now because what John kind of unknowingly signed up to do was make a bunch of false promises that he couldn't keep. And they said before, like, the mistake they made was announcing IPs too early, and then other companies kind of locked them out of them. So they kind of had to take the route they're going now, which, to be fair, they do answer questions and stuff. They do their best to answer questions. And I don't dislike the girls that they have doing their stuff. I think they do a really good job, and they've come a long way since the first stream where it was like an utter disaster.
Yeah, they don't have their figures tumble over head first anymore.
Right. And Major Pain, sorry to answer your question. The most important thing when you're storing figures or accessories or anything is that the bags are acid free. Like, I specifically buy like jewelry grade bags from Amazon that say that they're acid free, so I can't really speak about the particular bags you have. You have to specifically see if on the box it says acid free, because if not, it could cause some issues with like paint or what have you in long-term storage. Like, I'm talking long term. But yeah, the most important thing is acid free, in my opinion. Lane does have to head out, though, guys. We're going to be finishing up here shortly, but Lane, thank you so much for being here. As always, I appreciate you for dedicating your time.
Yep.
Hope you have a good one.
You guys all have a good evening. This has been glad to be back with everybody, and we got to have some fun talking about some really good, really exciting figures. All right, you guys have a good night. Take care.
Take care, dude.
You too. See you.
But yeah, Evan, for sure. I mean, you know, like Chris said, you know, maybe we wouldn't have complained as much about the time it takes if we had known that it would eat into the accessory so much. But, you know, I'm still very happy with InArt. I love my InArt stuff. And, yeah, I think we'll round out the InArt topic there. I just wanted to show a couple little head sculpts here. So Jazz Inc. did give us 2 little teasers this week of some upcoming figures, 2 of which I'm very excited for. Obviously, this first one, this is the Alicia Silverstone Batgirl. And, you know, when this figure was first teased to be a thing, I had a lot of complaints about it because, one, they chose the ice suit, which was a really weird decision, and I'm glad that they've kind of gone back on that. But 2, they didn't make the suit blue. It was like a flat black. And to be fair, they took that feedback very quickly. I made a post on Jazz Inc.'s group about it when they first teased it, and they made changes very quick, and they've already gone back on the ice suit thing, and now they're doing her main suit, which is very exciting. I like this head sculpt. It's not spot on. I do think it needs some tweaking and or maybe just show us some more pictures, because this is like a weird, like, you know, kind of angled down view, which I don't know why they keep taking pictures like that. What I actually learned the other day, which I didn't realize, I thought maybe Viola had done the rooting. This is actually Tetsu Custom Studio that they're working with on the rooting, which he's like one of the best customizers when it comes to doing rooted
Yeah,
hair
that's
jobs.
a big name right there. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's cool. But I think this sculpt is, it's mostly there. I think this looks pretty good. It's not perfect, but again, I want to see more of this one. I don't like this top-down view. I want to see more. I don't think it's spot on, but I can see Alicia Silverstone there, so I don't hate it. But I'm very excited about this. I know it's like probably a throwaway character for a lot of people. Fig, I don't know how you felt about this one, because I know you're kind of invested in Jazz Inc. as well and kind of following their journey, and you're always on the update posts and everything, keeping an eye on those. Like, obviously we're going to talk about the other one, but I don't know how you feel about this this Batgirl sculpt. I don't know if we lost you or not because your screen just went black. Maybe we did. Chris, do you have any thoughts on this sculpt? I don't know. I don't want to assume that you don't know who Alicia Silverstone is. I'm assuming you do.
Just the actress and that's it, and I think it looks like her.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, the hair looks great. Obviously, Tetsu is one of the best at what he does, and I hope that in production it turns out like this, because the styling is just
I was
spot
just, dude.
on.
I'm literally here, like almost kind of speechless because I'm just kind of staring like the likeness. That's pretty uncanny for a mask that you can tell, and then the hair.
And it's blue. They got the blue.
Like, bro,
which
if
I
it
really-
wasn't like on that little post, you would almost think that was like a still shot.
Yeah. No, I hope so. Obviously, the biggest challenge, right, is how Jazz Inc.'s hair production is going to turn out, because Tetsu and Viola, they can do their beautiful rooted hair jobs and show an example, but it's the execution of the factory, right, and how they follow those hair jobs and the techniques that are presented to them. So that's going to be the biggest challenge, but this prototype, I think, is beautiful. The hair looks amazing. Yeah, the hair is fantastic. Tetsu is just top tier, and it's so cool that they're working with him. X-Man's here. What's up, dude? He said, as an 80s, 90s kid, I love Alicia Silverstone. As if. Yeah, we need a Clueless figure. That's what
Hey,
we need.
yo.
But he said, but she was a garbage
Damn.
background and a garbage movie. Hey, I know how you feel about these movies, but they're very
I
nostalgic.
miss the
to me.
old
Yeah,
Stacey
Clueless.
Dash.
I miss the old Kanye. Yeah, I need this figure in my life, dude. I need it. I've got my two Batman and Robin figures custom painted. She's gonna fit right in next to him. I cannot wait. Now, Fig, I don't know how you feel about this one. I don't think we talked about this one. We might have, or no, you might have briefly shared your thoughts the other day. Maybe it was Ivy we didn't talk about, but what are your thoughts on the likeness on this one?
I think it's about 7.5 out of 10. If I'm being real, about 7.5 out of 10. I think it's close. Just needs a few things touched up on. The hair looks nice. The mask is amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like just a few things need to be touched up, but I like the direction that we're heading for. And you got to remember that, like, he had a 3D rendering just a couple months ago, and now he has a physical copy of the head sculpt.
And this looks a lot better than that 3D rendering for sure.
That's what I'm saying. It's a gradual thing. I'm a big Jazz supporter, but I'm getting to the point now where I want to see what the final copy of a full figure is going to be now,
Especially with rooted hair like this, that's going to be like a very skeptical thing for a lot of people. And I think that's
what
fair.
I'm saying. People are already being skeptical. So this is just giving them another reason to want to hold on to their cards until they get to see something tangible,
Yeah, and you were saying on this one you really liked the cherry lips, right?
Yeah, I think the lips look nice. Yeah.
And don't even joke, because that's a real point.
The cherry lips. He likes the cherry.
You feel me?
Now, this next one, I was actually like, I felt like people were like overly glazing it, and this needs. So someone that I know commented on the post and said, like, the head sculpt is it's a good start, but it needs work. And Yost basically commented, like, well, we think this looks good, and you're not really giving me anything to go off of. So then multiple other people commented, and I agreed with their sentiments. I think the cheeks are too puffy. They need to narrow the cheeks a little bit, and the chin needs to be more narrow and pointy, because that's what Uma Thurman's chin looks like.
Yeah, aren't you like, that's one of your crushes there?
Yeah, I love, dude, Kill Bill Everything Uma Thurman was in, I was there for it. So I want this to be good. I love the eyes, and I think the hair is gorgeous. And I think they worked with Tetsu on this one as well. But they need to fix the cheeks and the chin, in my opinion. That chin is way too rounded, dude. It reminds me of like Madonna's like round chin that she has now. It's a good start. It just needs to be narrowed out. And one of the collectors on the Facebook page, hold on, he posted right here. I mean, you could see it clear as day, bro, that they need to make changes to the chin and stuff. Like she's got a rounded chin here, and then her chin comes to like a point, you know. And again, they just need to slim out her cheeks a little bit. They just look a little too like puffy, you know. He said Cherry Lips, good song. But that being said, again, the hair is gorgeous, and they need to stop taking pictures from this angle. I saw someone say the Widow's Peak was a bit too deep, but also like look at the angle. There's like a slope in the head. The head is tilted a little bit too forward, so they need to fix that for sure.
Get their chins up.
Right. They need to take some better pictures, but I'm very excited for this. Again, I know this might be a throwaway.
What you're talking about now.
Yeah. But it's a good start. I think the eyes look. I really like the eyes.
It's almost if you do the eye, but
also I noticed like this is kind of flat on the face. These like little like vine designs.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I was gonna say the eyes are fine, but then I kind of covered up the bottom half and compared eyes, and it's almost like, and I don't know if it's lighting, but it's almost like the eyes on the left are too dark versus what's in the film, whatever she's got, and you can see the shadow forecasted like on her forehead versus.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, in terms of like what the actual makeup looks like, these are different parts of the film probably that they're portraying. So maybe in this particular look, she has a bit heavier shadow. I would think so, but I haven't compared, you know, what potential scenes they pulled this look from. But just in terms of the likeness in general, we need to slim the face out a little bit more. And I think, you know, if Yost was asking for like actual feedback and not just saying it needs work, that's the feedback that I saw the most. And I think her lips are a bit too red as well. I don't know if maybe her lips were a bit redder when she like kissed Robin. I don't remember exactly what shade of lipstick she had, but I do think here they look very red versus like more of a pink shade. So, but dude, Uma Thurman in this film, dude, unbelievable. Performance of a lifetime, I might add. And also, we're going to have a nice little shelf, right? Because we got the Mars Toys Poison Destroyer releasing eventually. We'll have this.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze. Like, dude, it's going to be a sick shelf. And Mr. Freeze is one of my most anticipated figures, and that was one that I wanted for a really long time. And if Hot Toys messes that up, I probably will cry.
Batgirl,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a cool shelf, man. I'm excited. Pure nostalgia. I know that's pure crap for X-Men, but I'm excited for it nonetheless. Any final thoughts on this head sculpt? Because this is actually going to be it for us tonight. You know, we ran for 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's a long stream, but we owed it to you guys because we were away for so long. Guys, I want to say this. I know maybe, especially myself, I had some hot takes on this stream. Didn't do it to ruffle your feathers or anything, so I do apologize if some of you guys got annoyed, but hey, that's my thoughts. Like I said, with the Pennywise, I'm being a little selfish with that one, I understand. And with the Sigourney Weaver likeness, I'm not sorry. I think the head sculpt looks pretty good, but I understand, and that's why we have the great variety of opinions we have here, because I think that makes things fun. But I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us and spending your time tonight. Again, sorry that we missed out the past couple weeks, but I'm glad we were able to make it and have an awesome stream. If you're watching the replay, I hope you guys enjoy it. Real quick, guys, I want to say YouTube has added a messaging feature, and I had this awesome idea of maybe creating like a messenger community for the channel, so you can actually message directly on YouTube now. So if you go to the community tab on my channel after you get off the stream, or even right now if you have a separate device, you can actually join from that link into a messenger chat. It's like a generic invite that everybody can join. And I thought that'd be fun to be able to communicate with you guys who don't have Facebook or Instagram or anything, because I know there's quite a few of you that don't. So if you haven't, go ahead and check out that link. Again, it's on my community page where I always post like updates of like new figure announcements and things like that. You'll see it's the most recent one. Click that link and accept the invite. Make sure you turn on messaging. Chris and I tested it this morning, and it does work. So I think that'll be pretty cool to chat with you guys through YouTube as well. So, yeah, that's going to wrap it up. Chris, Fig, Lane, Sal, everybody that joined us tonight, I appreciate you. And if you're watching on the replay, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And hopefully, just hopefully, we'll see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. EST. Peace, guys. Take care,
sir.
and we'll see you next time.
Have a good night.